Welcome to the Fire-Breathing Kittens. It's a standalone 5th edition D&D podcast that you can listen to in any order. And any order you choose is the right order. Today, we are joined by Olive.
Hey everybody, Olive is a bipedal crocodile. She's a level 18. Woo! Way of the open hand monk. She wears baggy brown pants and a white Jedi-style robe.
Level 18?
Oops. 19?
I'm level 19. I don't know about you.
Well, why don't you tell us about yourself, Aaron?
All right. Well, I'm Aaron. I'm a level 19 lore bard. And I have blue hair and blue skin because I'm a Triton and pointy piranha teeth. I am wearing silky ocean-colored scarves around my waist and some gold chains stretched across my chest and not a whole lot else. Howdy.
And Beans.
Hello, my name's Beans. I'm a tortoiseshell tabaxi. I'm a level 19, mostly monk. I have 1 level in rogue because of reasons we won't go into right now. Like I said, I'm a tortoiseshell tabaxi, so I'm a little tiny cat person. I like to wear my poncho hammock, which is a mixture of a poncho and a hammock. And it's got some branding now on the back of it, which says, like, you know, sponsored by Dr. Crud's medicinal wagon. You can't get cheaper tooth extractions, no matter how hard you try. I take them with whether you want them or not.
Confirmed.
We've been workshopping a couple of different ideas. That's what we're coming on with so far. But yeah, that's Beans. And once again, I am surrounded by people I am terrified of. So let's see how this one goes.
Who you used to be terrified of, right?
I'm still a bit, still a bit anxious. Depends on the day.
Well, you guys can discuss this further as you're hanging out in the guild hall. It's a large bar. There's tables and a bounty board where quests are posted. Or not bounty board, a quest board. I mean, occasionally a bounty board, depending on the quest. It's cyclical.
I like the name.
Yeah. And yeah, is anybody up to anything in particular?
Olive, I'm not saying I'm scared of you. It's just when you get a bit hungry, I like to run away and hide. Okay? It's nothing to do with you. I just don't want to take the risk.
It sounds kind of like it's to do with me. I only eat every 2 weeks, right? Everything other than that is just fun eating.
Well, she does less fun eating these days.
Yeah, I walk around a lot more, so...
How's your progress going?
Oh, Olive is officially fit as a fiddle. She started out at level 1 very obese, has maintained her not-so-good eating habits, but now that she exercises all the time, she, needs the calories to build the muscle?
Yeah.
Yeah. She weightlifts. Yeah. Volleyballs. Yeah.
Beautiful.
It all counts.
Anyway, I promise not to eat you, Beans. You don't have to worry. I also don't eat cats.
Well,
I know, but some things are quite hardly, ingrained in our psyches. You can't just turn them off. It's like the reason you eat dogs now in the first place is like nom 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 nom. Gotta eat.
I literally don't.
do you not eat stray cats? Because cats are more damaging to the local ecosystem than dogs are.
They're really not.
It depends on if you like birds or people more. So packs of stray dogs that eat people are a good food source too. But actually, you know what? Looking at my character sheet, I don't need to eat at all. So if it would make you feel better, Beans, I'll just give up food for the rest of my life. Yeah, I think I'll do that.
The bartender goes like, that seems a bit extreme.
I don't need it. And really, if it makes everyone around me sad and scared, I'll just stop. Yeah. All right. Olive has sworn off food. She is now a true monk. Yeah. Doesn't need to eat. Ever.
And with that, a very distraught Curry comes walking into the bar.
Oh, hey, Curry. What's up?
Where do you stand on this whole, eating or non-eating thing?
What? I guess I'm pro-eating. You see she has, like, tears in her eyes and is, like, clutching a piece of paper.
Aaron chomps in at the air with his sharp piranha teeth and says, as a fellow predator, I'm also very in favor of eating.
Why are we discussing whether we eat or not?
The timeless body trait gained at level 15. So what's that paper?
Yeah, what's going on with you? You look constipated? What is this face? I don't know.
You see that she is, like, trying to hold back tears, but is very bad at it. So just a very constipated look. She kind of, like, seizes up, walks over to the quest board, and pins the paper to it.
Oh, come now, Curry. You don't have to wait for someone to respond. You know we're right here. Just talk to us. What's going on?
She, like, waves her hand and goes, like, I can't. And she pulls the paper off and hands it to you, and you see it's a beautiful embroidery wedding invitation for the Queen of Autumn is gaining a new consort in a one Tanager Goodfellow.
Oh. Do we know the Queen of Autumn?
Anyone can make an Arcana or Nature check.
Either way, good luck. Oh, wait, I rolled a 19 plus 2 on both of them, so that's a 21.
10 plus 0 on either is 10.
My thing is being slow, but I think we already got a 21.
Yeah,
so I think
21
we're
will
good.
work. You know this is a very powerful fae of clearly the Autumn Court. Some faes cluster themselves off if they're particularly connected to the seasons instead of just, like trickster things or, the seelie, unseelie thing. So not like an incredibly powerful godlike fae, but a very powerful being nonetheless. She just likes taking mortals, taking them to the Fae realm, doing the very basic Fae thing. And is representing Autumn, a pretty, like, neutral to, like, slightly mean type of Fae. The ending of things, the beginning of winter, like, it's not so much like the dead of winter, but she, like, embodies the process of things going away.
Oh yeah, I just happened to rip up one of the books about the Queen of Autumn the other day. I used it for my litter box. From what I read, definitely seems like Tanager's sort of type, so good for him.
I'm just confused. They're getting married? Like, I didn't know anything about this relationship. I thought we knew Tanager so well.
Yeah.
Curry is like, exactly. We didn't get the invitation. It went to Nixie from the Queen of Autumn.
Oh.
So Tanager didn't even tell us. And she, like, sobs into her hands.
Curry, what was your emotional relationship to Tanager?
I mean, we're best friends.
Oh.
Just best friends?
I mean, yeah, we goof around sometimes, but, like, he's been very polite and respectful of the employee-employer relationship.
Okay, all right. But still, I agree. He should have told you.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't supposed to tell anyone, but he left town a few days ago. He said he was going back to his home village to lie low from the mob and learn how to heal.
Oh, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Tanager wouldn't learn how to heal. I'm not plussed by the mob thing at all. Nonplussed. But the healing, something's wrong. He's not that kind of cleric.
But he has been gone for a few days, and she, like, this is the first message or anything she's received in Tanager for, I'll say, 3 days.
It sounds like this just became a search and rescue.
Please, this is why I brought it to the guild as soon as Nixie asked me to be her +1.
That's an interesting relationship, but okay.
Yeah, things are weird at the manor. There's that dead kid who lives with us now. He's nice, but sometimes I just see him staring out the window for, like, hours. And you know what? He actually doesn't eat. So maybe you guys can not go to dinner together.
Okay.
Cool.
Is there an address on this wedding invitation?
Yes, there would be. And it matches up with the she doesn't know where Tanager's home village is, but it's matches an area that would overlap with the general area you think he's from. So the wedding might be held at his home village of Pan's Folly.
Pan's Folly?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like an interesting place. Well, it sounds like we know where to go.
Yeah, you can get there pretty much whatever way you like, carriage, teleportation. There's no airship dock, and then there'll be probably a hike through a forest, as there are no roads leading to Pan's Folly.
Okay, well, maybe we'll get as close as we can with the train and then traipse through the woods.
Sounds good.
Beans, how's your survival skills?
Oh, let me just have a look in my book. This is the book Crud gave me to tell me what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. Oh, I'm actually okay at survival. I haven't died yet, so I must be pretty good.
All right. Maybe we'll let you lead the way.
Also, I can run really quickly, as can Olive. So, if we come
Please
across
don't.
any trouble, we can just run away from it, and I'm sure you'll be fine. You can control the water, right? I'd be fine in a forest.
Oh, I can fly.
Oh, that works too. Why didn't you just say that you could fly?
Yeah, I can fly.
You fly, we run. Problem solved.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. So you...
Oh,
Take
idea. How about we attach one rope to me, one rope to Olive. We run really quickly, and you basically, we'll stick up like a sail on you, and you can go parasailing with us.
That sounds incredibly fun.
Okay.
No magic required, just really quick running.
I like it.
I love it. So you guys take the train, end up at the edge of a forest. It's beautiful green, lush trees. Looks like a cartoonist version of a forest. Made of real trees, but they're all perfectly rounded at the tops. Little beams of sunlight go through, and it seems like every time you look in a new direction, there's just a little cute animal on a tree. And it's okay, there are a lot of blue jays in this forest. Give me athletics checks from both of you.
Athletics?
Yeah.
That's the one we can't do.
Well, as a monk, that'll be 12.
As another monk, that'll be 14.
Cool. So, Aaron, you get up in the air, but it's very, rocky as they're running, and then they're oh, okay, that's a rock. And they, kind of jump over, lose momentum for, a second. But you have, a pretty good view above the canopy of the trees if you'd like to make a perception check.
Absolutely, I would. Let me just see what my perception is. I get a +1 to that. 10. I think my passive perception is better.
What would your passive perception be?
Oh, actually, I have 9 written here. Oh, so I guess 10.
Cool. So you can see that, deeper into the forest, there is, a much larger cluster of trees. So if that is a city-sized clump of trees, I'll put it that way.
What color are the trees?
They don't really stick out, but, with a 10 and a sort of rocky ride, you think you see that they are different, but they don't seem to stick out dramatically.
I mean, are they green, or is it fall-colored trees?
No, still green, but a little bit darker, and then you think for a second you see flashes of color, but that's all
maybe
the
that's the
tunnel.
city. Maybe it's
Yeah.
kind of a city up in the trees, kind of a Pokemon Ruby kind of vibe. I forget the name of that, whatever that town was, the one with the bird gym.
Yeah, no, absolutely sick reference, dude. Though.
I can picture it.
Deep cut. Cool. And with that, Beans, if you'd like to make your survival now.
I would be delighted.
Well, you can go ahead and do it at advantage, because Aaron can tell you, has a theory of where the city is, so you can at least keep a direction in mind.
Okay, 16 plus 9. So 25.
Ooh, with a juicy 25, you not only make good time doing the, like, full speed running and having Aaron glide, with, like, a general good sense of direction, and hopefully a sense of purpose of potentially helping out a friend. You make, maybe, like, in, like, 45 minutes, you get deep into the forest, and you get the strong feeling that you're being watched as you get closer.
I think it's important to mention at this point that Beans is wearing blinders so we don't get distracted by all the birds flying around.
Noted.
Olive, do you get the feeling that anyone's watching us? And as we stop to have a look round, we hear a scream from just above us as Aaron plummets to the ground because we forget that he's still up there.
We've forgotten what falling damage is because we're high-level monks.
Yeah, we don't think about it anymore. We just hear the branches go.
I'll say the standard sitcom thing of his parachute gets stuck in, like, the canopy of a tree and he's hanging a couple feet off the ground like, help me out here.
I mean, I can fly.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
you're fine then.
Yeah, so, I don't know how good you are at hand motions, but I hand motion fake argument and fight to the fake death. Let's see how the watcher reacts.
Hang on, let me just roll an inside check.
I'm gonna. How do I do that? I'm gonna be like, yeah, you think so?
Well, I got a 19, so I reckon I think I know what you're on about.
Okay, I'm gonna punch you. Air quotes. Have you guys ever seen stage fighting where like one person flat punches another person and then the recipient flings themselves bodily backwards and like 6 feet away lands like on their back and they're like, oh no. Stage fighting is so cool. Yeah. So I'm gonna what do you call it? Telegraph my moves.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Give me a deception.
Fake punch me.
Yeah.
Fake punch me as hard as you can.
Okay. I mean, I am a level 19 monk. So I have a plus 12 to hit at this point, which makes even bad rolls 18 to hit, which probably misses you but is very close.
No,
Perfect
it doesn't
for-
actually, because
Oh.
it's exactly my armor class.
Whoa, dang.
So your claws like make brief contact with Beans' fur. You end up like pulling a little bit of fur out, so there will be a bit of a slight bald patch there. But Beans like squeals and jumps backwards anyway.
Oh no.
Because it wasn't quite expecting what was going on. It was, just
Beans,
flies back into the brush.
Oh, are you going to fake fight back, or...
Oh no.
Okay.
Because Beans is already scared that Olive's getting hungry.
No, the point of this was for you to fake kill me.
Cool. So,
I got a fake fight from the hand movements.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
give me a perception check real quick.
Who?
Beans, please.
Okay. Oh, 19 plus 9, 28.
Okay, so you see as you're flying through the brush, you're like, if I can land this roll right, I think whatever's watching us is over there. So...
so flying back completely horizontally.
Yeah. You're like...
looking around, go, whoo, 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 whoo. Okay, let's try this.
Cool, give me a acrobatics.
Ooh. Unnatural 20.
Beautiful. You land, roll, kind of like, put your leg out and do a little kick, so you go off to the side, and you come skidding up onto a blonde, very attractive, just simply white-robed satyr, sort of androgynous looking, who looks down at you and goes like, ooh, that looked like that hurt.
Oh no, so it's okay. It's okay. By the way, do you know where I can get a fish around here?
Yes.
Ooh, do tell.
Oh, well, I mean, there's the village right over there. I can walk you guys over if you want.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. Guys, this person knows where to get fish.
Okay.
I join I'm like, I guess I didn't have to play dead. Hi.
They look at you with, like, goat satyr eyes. Hello. Why'd you punch him? And they sort of, like, start walking down, like dodging trees. There's, like, a very light footpath you can see.
Practice.
Yeah, we had to trade that for, bite attacks. So she used to do that a lot more violently.
Oh. Well, that kind of sounds like a bummer.
Oh, well, only occasionally, but luckily we managed to, like, sort it so she only, bit my upper half instead.
Interesting.
I like sitting down, okay? Sometimes it was a bit of a thing.
Olive keeps her mouth shut as she is being falsely accused.
So the satyr raises their eyebrows. So what brings you guys here, exactly?
I'm not quite sure. I thought this was an adventure holiday. What is going on?
Oh no, we lost Aaron. I pull on the string like a kite.
Yeah, I'm still up in the tree. I don't know what's happening here yet.
I reel you down, because we have to move at the satyr's pace now anyway.
Okay. Hi, guys. Who's your friend?
They have fish.
Well, Beans is in. Okay.
Well, you're not interested in fish at all, Aaron. You come from under the sea.
We just got very used to fish. Aaron really likes pastries. That's like a very land thing. We can't have those underwater. They just dissolve,
That's a good point, yeah, well.
Yeah.
The satyr nods and goes, yeah, I feel the same way. Sometimes too much of a good thing can go a little stale,
Well, it depends on the good thing.
Well, I mean, you guys, you're pretty deep in the forest, but you came at an interesting time. I mean, there's a wedding and a funeral, so that's pretty cool.
Ooh, is it the same event?
No, two
One of
separate
those
events.
Is it not like a corpse bride situation?
Good reference.
Sick ref, bro. No, unfortunately, it's not the same event, but one of the participants in the wedding did kill the person at the funeral, so that's kind of wild.
Okay, we're gonna need a little more info here.
Well, I figure you guys, well, actually, I would like to consider me and Tanager friends, but, I don't know. I haven't seen him too often lately, but, anyway, Tanager killed the town priest, and then as punishment, we're marrying him off to the Fae, so. But that's, like, a good thing. He always wanted to, like, go off and see the world, so now he can go see the Feywild. That's, like, a whole new world.
Okay, fair. Is he in town, or where's he been hanging out these days?
Oh,
Probably prison.
I think he's at his parents' house.
Okay, good. Yeah, we should stop and chat with him a little bit.
Okay. I don't know if he's going to be much up for talking, though. I mean, he got pretty angry when we accused him of murder, and then especially got even angrier when we told him we were going to marry him off. But, yeah, and then some magic users in town had to turn him into more of a goat man. So he lost quite a bit of sentience.
Oh. Well, that's news.
This I gotta see.
I think we can
cool.
fix that.
So, as you get closer, you see that the trees open up into a wider grove where, like, massive, almost like rainforest-sized trees go up, and you see out from the branches there are little shops built onto, like, more flat branches. People are hanging out in, like, leaves that are filled with, like, dew, and they're sitting in them like jacuzzis. Down at the floor, there's, like, a deep pit dug into the center of the town where there is just a constant club-like dance party going on before a massive altar of a, it's going to get redundant if I keep calling everyone in this town beautiful. Everyone here is a hot satyr, and their god is truly the hottest satyr. They're holding a goblet of wine in the other hand, and just a fistful of beads and jewels in their other, adorned with, like, actual, like, fresh flower wreaths around what would be the reveler's neck, and it stands probably, like, 18 feet tall. And everybody give me a perception check real quick. This is sort of the closest. Afterwards, you can go investigate the tree towers.
18.
23.
With a 23, even from this distance, you can spot a lot of blood upon the altar.
Wow, that altar smells like my normal drink, guys. Delicious.
Wait,
Chicken blood?
just before we go anywhere, I'm just gonna take off my blinders. I'm surrounded by all these beautiful people. I'm just gonna put them on Aaron. We need him to focus. So you can only look ahead of you.
Okay. I feel like I'm not the most distractible one in this group.
Around here you are.
Razzing aside,
Blinders on, fine.
Aaron, you have full ability to take off the blinders and also do, like, do whatever you like.
Do they look cute, though?
You know what? I'm going to roll a quick dice. Yeah, I'll take it. You see a couple that, like, everyone in town is also wearing olive. You would remember when, or I guess anybody was on the guild hall right after Mendax died. Tanager went into traditional satyr mourning, adorning himself with a white robe and putting colorful stuff in his hair.
Yes, the rainbow morning hair.
Yeah, everybody in town is doing that. Most are just putting flowers in their hair, not actually dyeing it. But you do see a couple that, like, has blinders on, and one has, like, just like a small choker around their neck, and they kind of, like, wink at you.
Okay, I meant, like, do the blinders look cute on me? But okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, people in town are into it, dude. It's confirmed by other people they look cute on you.
Okay, cool. I'll keep them on then.
I will mention they're a bit small for you. Because Beans is very little.
I don't know, Aaron's pretty small, too.
Yeah, I think you're the same height. Both about 5 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Aaron's 5'2".
Okay, so they fit perfectly.
Okay, perfect. So we're walking around town. Everybody's real cute, okay, but we got to focus. We got to find Tanager.
Yes, and you will notice that as you kind of look to be like, hey, mysterious stranger, where does Tanager live? They're gone.
Ooh, the blonde one?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Can I approach that couple that's also wearing blinders?
Yeah, they're only a few feet away. You see that just sort of like, almost like in a video game where they just scatter random, like, tables and chairs around, like, a dungeon and stuff, and you're like, why would there be a table and chairs here? It's like that, and people are just sitting on lounging couches, just sort of in open spaces, having big conversations and, like, smoking hookah or passing around bottles.
Yeah.
You do see a smattering, like, maybe a 2% of the people here are not satyrs.
Okay, so we don't totally stick out.
No.
I'm going to sidle up to the one that winked at me and go, hey, cool blinders.
Thanks. My name's Owl.
Owl? That's cool. I'm Aaron.
Really nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. I hear there's a lot of drama going on. Somebody named Tanager, like, really messed up here, right?
Tanager's been messing up his whole life. I'm not surprised.
I'm kind of looking for him. Do you know where he lives?
Well, I mean, yeah, everybody knows. Well, he doesn't live there anymore, but his brothers do, and everybody knows them.
Yeah. Can you tell me where? I mean, we kind of know Tanager from, like, outside of here, but we've never actually been to his house before.
Oh, well, yeah, it's just down that way. It's the big one. It's the only white tree in town.
White tree. Okay, and it's big.
Yeah.
Well, I usually have a good habit of finding those. Thanks.
Yeah, maybe I'll see you in the pit later?
The pit?
Yeah, the dugout area in front of the altar where everybody's dancing and playing music.
Yeah, you can find me there.
Awesome. See you later.
Bye, Owl.
Cool. So they walk off. You guys get directions. Is there anything you want to do as you wander over towards Tanager's house, or are you beelining it?
I would like to sniff the blood on the altar, but like stealthily so no one can tell I'm sniffing it, to see if I can tell what species of blood it is.
Cool. So you would have to make your way through the pit in order to get up to the altar.
Should I do that, guys?
Do you want a distraction?
Yes.
Okay. So Aaron, one of those bard abilities is that, public performance thing. Aaron is going to make a spectacle of himself and start dancing off on the left corner of the pit so everyone looks in that direction. And he's going to roll... Jeez, I'm not doing well with the rolls. A 7 for his performance plus 17, so 24?
Yeah. You see that in the immediate left corner, a lot of people are like looking at you dancing, being like, oh my god, look at this Triton go. They're crazy. And like it sort of loosens up the throng of people for like the rest of the crowd as they like sort of have more room since it's condensed in the other corner. So you can get through a lot more easy without like, it's essentially like trying to walk through a crowded bar where you're just like, excuse me, pardon me. So instead of disadvantage, you can just make a regular stealth.
13.
With like just your passive perception, you hear somebody go like, what is that weird crocodile lady doing? Is that a pickpocket?
That's just how I am at parties. I'm just awkward. I'm on the edge. And welcome to Charisma 8 Life. Stand at the edge of the room.
Cool. You make it up to the altar. Is like, people have noticed you, but you're up there, and you can still make a sniff if you want.
While they're all whispering, like, what's she doing? What's this bit of a weird thing? Beans, who rolled a 26 on a stealth check, is behind them and just go, it's okay, she just does this. We had to, it is trade-off from eating things, so, it's okay.
Oh,
it's okay.
Hon, you just need to party more. Here, come dance with us.
I sniff before I get dragged away, so like my nose lingers and my arm gets pulled in the other direction. So that was a 30 on the perception roll, and then I'm like dragged into the mosh pit.
This is fine aged satyr blood. An older satyr passed away, and this is their blood.
Noted. And then I'm dancing.
Yeah, you are.
Cool. So you guys burned some time. Beans, what you are totally stealthed right now, even in a massive crowd of people. Is there anything you'd like to do?
I think Beans would, after Olive's gone up and sniffed it and made a bit of a fool of herself, Beans is just going to just walk over to the altar and just have a little investigate, see if anything's gone on. Because they mentioned, murder on at the altar. Not quite murder on the dance floor, but it's quite close.
Nailed it.
Hey.
Give me that investigate, please.
Gladly. Ooh, hello. 27 on investigation.
Ooh.
I should probably mention that I took a feat. Actually, no, I got an item previously called the Eyes of Minute Seeing, which gives me advantage on investigation checks. And also I got another item because I prepared for investigation. Beans is coming up to the end of lawyer and detective school. They combine them. It's really weird. So they give you a couple of items. Well, I say give. They make you pay for them. So we've got a robe of eyes as well, which provides advantage on perception checks. And there's a load of like dark vision-y stuff and invisible stuff. So it's basically not being, you can't get caught out so easily.
I don't know the wording. Does it happen to have any like inherent magic seeing abilities?
Let me give you a...
Yeah, give me the wording.
Okay, so the robe lets you see in all directions, and you have advantage on perception checks that rely on sight. You have dark vision out to a range of 120 feet, and you can see invisible creatures and objects, as well as see into the ethereal plane out to a range of 120 feet.
Cool. Noted. So none of that is around the altar, though you can see pretty much everything very, very clearly.
I have to see things now. It's one of the things. There was something about it says the eyes on the robe can't be closed or averted. It says although you can close or avert your own eyes, you are never considered to be doing so while wearing this robe. So I can't look away even if I wanted to.
All right.
It's like a car crash.
Yeah.
Can't look away.
Some coat of rubbernecking. All right. With that 27 investigate, though, you go full Dexter. And, like, clearly someone came up.
Hopefully not full Dexter.
Okay, you go half Dexter. And mean to say, you can tell by the blood pattern, which has attempted to be cleaned up, but, like, the general trajectory of what they couldn't scrub out of the altar. Satyrs aren't the most into housework. Mm-hmm. Is that someone approached from the front, stabbed, like, into the chest with a, like, large, wide, sharp object, like, maybe like a spear or like a great spear or something, and the blood shot out from behind. Like, you know, you can basically see, like, okay, they just walked right up to this person and stabbed him in the chest.
Well, someone also did really bad on their stealth roll if they did this. It's very, very lazy, but certainly interesting. Oh, wait, where is... Oh, Olive, what are you doing? You're not meant to be crumping.
Olive is crumping.
Your doctor told you no.
If you've ever seen the episode about Elaine dancing in Seinfeld, that's what I'm doing. I think it's great. Everyone else thinks it's awful.
A full body seizure, I believe, was the term.
Yeah.
Cool. The satyr you're dancing with is like, you're crazy. My name's Eagle. What's yours?
Hi, Eagle. I'm Olive.
Nice to meet you, Olive. What are you doing later tonight? Do you want to go hang out in one of the leaf jacuzzis?
I bet Aaron does. I drag Aaron over. I'm like, Aaron, you love leaf jacuzzis, right?
I don't know if I've been on one, but it sounds good.
Aaron, you see Olive walk up as you have, like, held the center of attention for, like, 5-10 solid minutes now, as these satyrs are just like, you're awesome. Are there more of you? Bring more of you.
Ouch, is one not enough?
And then Olive shows up and they're like, sad.
Yeah, and then you see Olive kind of, like, waving at you. There's, like, a gap of maybe, like, 4 feet as Aaron's holding, like, attention like a force field.
I call over mid-dance. Olive, hi! What's up?
Hey, I brought you Eagle.
Eagle? Owl? Okay, I'm noticing a trend with the names.
Tanager, also a type of bird.
I actually recently learned this.
Cool. They kind of, like, wave and, like, you know, kind of, like, waves you, like, come on over.
Oh, Aaron is dancing a few feet away, and there's a lot of people in the way, so he does, like, running leap backflip and lands right in Eagle's arms. Hi.
Eagle juts her arms out. Actually rolls pretty good. 16 on a dice, I'll take it.
Does she
catches you? Catches you, kind of, like, slides you down, and, like, goes like, what a move. This one can move. What, does someone have freedom of movement on themselves? And giggles to themselves.
I'm all about freedom.
Well, come on, let's go get a drink then. And
okay.
She kind of, like, ruffles through. She has, like, a short cropped, like, just swoop of hair with the shaved sides. And again, you know, everyone is dressed in, like, white tunics, robes, things of that nature. Just loose flowing garments, toga-esque. And you guys, like, walk out of the pit. Beans, with your 27, you know there's not much more to find here. You definitely have not missed any clues. This is just a simple murder site.
/ dance room.
Oh, I'll say, with a 27, you would also probably assume everyone saw this happen, because the party never stops. So there's no way that people didn't witness it.
But could it have been somebody
Okay.
polymorphed as Tanager?
That's a good question, Erin. Mm-hmm.
So would you like to exit the altar / pit, Beans?
Oh, if at all possible. Yes.
Cool. So you slip out, and everybody sort of meets up with Eagle outside of the pit. You're sort of like standing near the tables and sitting area, like when you first walked into town.
Okay. So, Eagle, what's your take on all this murder mystery drama?
Well, I mean, it's no mystery. Tanager, like, stabbed the priest in the chest with his bare hand, which was wild.
Whoa.
I didn't think Tanager's hand could do that.
I don't know. I mean, he's been gone for years, and I have no idea why he would ever want to leave this. Though, he was always a weird kid.
Well, aren't we all in some ways?
No, everybody here is, like, pretty consistently awesome.
Yeah, I noticed you're all like really attractive. Who's that blonde one? We met him earlier and he was like, you know?
A blonde satyr?
Yeah, he was the one who showed us to your village. I don't see him around now, though.
Oh, somebody must have dyed their hair for the funeral. Satyrs don't grow blonde hair.
Huh. Okay.
I mean, not anybody from Pan's Folly, at least. Anyway, what are you guys up to? Are we gonna want to go get hammered?
Sure.
Cool. So you guys all sort of travel she takes you into the interior of one of these trunks of these giant trees. There is a small elevator for people who can't jump, but you see Eagle mirthful leaps and basically like wall kicks her way like a video game up to the top of like maybe like what would be 3 floors up, and sort of walks out of a knot hole in the tree onto one of the branches. Inside of the trunk, they're like beautiful hanging like a chandelier in shape, but made of vines with small glowing nodules of bioluminescent like plants and things like that. So the inside gives off like a soft fey glow. Out on the branches, you see it's sort of like a pretty stable, just like city street, and off on the like smaller extensions of the branches, there are like small shops, things like that, and then the leaves of the tree, so to speak, are all sort of cup-shaped, filled with dew, and you just see like satyrs in groups of like 2 to 8 sitting in them with drinks and things like that. Some of them bubble, some do not. How long you guys gonna like hang out here for?
It depends how long's the queue for the drinks.
Oh, not too long. You can get a drink within like maybe 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll be alright.
I feel like we shouldn't stay here super long. I feel like we're kind of focused on a mission here.
Oh, you guys are on a mission? That's pretty cool.
Well, I think mission's a bit of a strong term. I was sold an adventure holiday, which has turned into a bit of a kerfuffle, if anything. So, like I said, mission's a bit strong. I'm going to go get a drink. Does anyone want anything? Bear in mind, I have no cash on me.
Oh, that's fine. Nobody here uses money.
Oh, that's handy.
Is that a trap? Because I don't eat or drink starting today.
I
Oh,
don't...
no. It was just, if you fancied anything.
The right answer is no.
Aaron will still drink.
Cool. So you go over to a stall. You see, like, a satyr is behind it. They have, like, a shock of black hair that's, like, slicked back with, like, green flowers in it. They go, oh, hey, wine or liquor?
Do you do a virgin white ration?
I think you want to go to a different branch if you're looking for that. We have wine and whiskey.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh, by the way, did you see Tanager stab someone on the dance floor?
Oh, the priest?
Oh, yeah, well.
No, but I heard about it. I mean, everybody was talking about it, but it's fine. He'll be gone later tonight.
Wait, you say everybody. Any names? Whips out a notebook.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have the names and everybody who was in the pit that night, but, you know.
Well, just like, one or two. The people who have talked to you about it.
Oh, nobody talks about Tanager. We're happy to get rid of him.
Aww.
Ouch.
We're his real family, guys. No wonder he left this stupid place.
Yeah, for real.
He, kind of feels bad he turned you away so hard. He goes, "What, do you drink, I have some chaser. Do you want some juice?"
Oh, I think I can probably manage that. What sort of juice do you have?
Just standard Fayberry.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like fun.
Cool. So it's a sparkly, almost fizzy, like a soda, and a little bit tart to the taste.
Okay, that sounds interesting. I'll have some of that.
Cool. So you get one of those, and he goes "All right, have a good night, bud."
Okay, you too. Is it night? Sorry, I can't tell the cheese.
It's sun is beginning to set.
Okay. Actually, also, while we're here, speaking of time, you said you weren't there, but do you know what sort of time Tanager was meant to have killed this priest?
It was 2 nights ago. It was pretty late in the evening. I think it was actually midnight prayers.
Okay. Thank you. Also for the drink.
Of course, man. Enjoy.
Take a little sip and... Oh, that is tat.
Cool. Anything you guys want to chat with Eagle while Beans is getting his drink?
Yeah, I'm really confused about everything here, Eagle. So like I said, I know you guys haven't really been around Tanager a lot lately, but he's been hanging out with us for a while, and he's a bit of a mess, but I just can't see him stabbing somebody. I mean, I feel like there's some kind of trickery going on here. We've dealt with a lot of changelings recently. We've dealt with some polymorph type stuff. I mean, I feel like the eyes aren't everything. Just because you saw something doesn't mean it was true. We live in a very magical land. So I'm just wondering what kind of due process was there a trial? What happened here to actually ascertain guilt?
What's a trial? We haven't... No, we didn't have a trial.
Beans.
We just all saw him do it, so he did it. So, Beans, you hear Aaron call you.
My ears prick up.
Beans, they did not have a trial. Can you explain to them exactly what a trial is?
Yes and no.
Beans.
You're
making me nervous.
Okay, basically, it's just as far as I understand it, it's just a big room where people are like, "Oh, did you do it?" And the person's like, "No, I didn't do it." And then they're like, "Yes, you did." And it's like, "No, I didn't." And it's like, "There's some proof and all that jazz." And all right, what are you? My final exam?
Aaron's face just falls farther and farther the longer Beans talks.
Cool. Beans, give me a persuasion check.
What am I trying to persuade? Well, that's a 7 plus 0, so 7.
Oh, that doesn't sound very fun.
Oh no, they're awful.
Oh yeah, then that's definitely why we didn't have one.
They take weeks, and the jury, they're the people who decide whether you're guilty or not. They've got to stay out of circulation from other people. They've got to stay in a hotel, and they can't have contact with other people. They can't go partying or drinking. They're not allowed to go to work in some cases. Sometimes they can't even know what's going on. So no, it's not a good situation for people involved. And, sometimes it's probably best if that doesn't happen. But, that's not me lawyer thinking. This is me with the crazy juice.
Aaron reaches out and just puts a hand over Beans' mouth. Yes. He stomps on Beans' foot.
Some water splashes out of the leaf.
So, I mean, yes, there's ups and downs with everything, but I mean, the truth will set you free, and I know we're all about freedom here, so shouldn't we really look into the truth? Plus, if there's a jury, you guys would get to hang out with me a little bit more, and I think that could be really fun.
Well, you guys use a lot of...
Should I roll a persuasion check?
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
The dice hate me today, Jesus Christ. Well, I rolled a 5, but my persuasion is a plus 12, so 17.
I mean, yeah, I guess with the right people, anything can be fun, but like, I don't know. I mean, the one who would decide this before would have been the priest, but they're like super dead now. So until the divine order can like figure out who's going to be the new head priest, I don't exactly know who's in charge. I guess it would be either like the lore piper or, I don't know, maybe the guy who runs the big bar.
I mean, you've got me. I'm basically an embodiment of the priesthood of the satyrs. I mean, I'm the king of the dance and song and drink, and I'm definitely a lore bard. So if that's what carries weight around here, I think you're looking at it.
Well, I mean, okay, why don't you, you should talk to, Robin.
Okay.
He's the lore piper, so maybe, like, you guys can talk lore together, and he might understand what one of these trial things you're talking about is.
Where can I find Robin?
Oh, at the Goodfellow house. Robin
Really?
Goodfellow.
Oh, that Robin. All right, let's do it.
Let's go make Aaron the judge. Woo. We're off to the big white tree.
Could you imagine?
I did have something in mind, but depending on your checks, I will totally throw it in the trash can and let Aaron be judge. But the dice will be the ones to decide this one, listeners. Okay, so you guys head off to the Goodfellow home. It's definitely night by this time. And as you approach this, like, it's maybe a quarter of the size of one of these tower trees, and like with multiple branching roots that sort of like lift out of the ground, creating these like little alcove spaces under the roots, and also like small rooms where the roots meet the ground. You approach, and you see like some bags and things like placed on like the walkway out of their house, and like an maybe a middle-aged satyr woman, like long straight black hair, like picture like Morticia Adams if she was half goat.
Okay.
There you go. And she like turns to you, and she has like many like blue and white flowers in her hair, and goes like, "Oh, hello, strangers. I'm sorry, we were just on our way out. No meetings tonight. Our son is getting married."
Well, we actually wanted to talk to you about that a little bit. How do you feel about this wedding?
Oh, it's what's good for the community and my son.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Why is it good for the community and your son?
Well, it strengthens our ties with the Feywild, and Tanager will finally have, I don't know, something. She's a nice woman, the Autumn Fairy. I don't entirely claim to know my son, but, you know, he seems to want a wife, so we'll give him one. Who are you to ask me these questions?
Oh.
I hold up my left hand, and it's got a fire-breathing kitten logo on the back of the palm. And I say,
"Oh, Reveler."
If there's one thing I know about Tanager, it's that he is not into marriage.
Well, I mean, he was with that tree for a while. Didn't he marry her?
Drusilla?
Yes, the tree lady.
No, he abandoned her. Yeah, no, he abandoned her because he doesn't like long-term commitments, so he definitely wouldn't be into this marriage.
That doesn't seem like my Tanager. Well, look, come in. Suppose we're going to discuss this. I'm going to need something to drink. So you guys enter, and it is like a lavish, the central base under the trunk of the tree is just one big room with multiple couches, small, like, pillars made just, like, hip-high to contain a bust, and it's filled with statues of satyrs that, just at a glance, all look like they could be related to Tanager, and sort of the walls and, like, the roof are painted with murals and pictures of two boys who look a lot like Tanager.
Okay.
These are the paladins, right? Tanager told us about his brothers.
Paladin and a bard.
Yeah. Which one's the paladin, I say? Having paid attention. Olive knows.
You see his mother, like, kind of, like, walks over to a close pair of pictures and goes, oh, well, this is Robin the Fifth. This is Tanager's older brother, and I don't want to brag, but he is the local lore piper, so he maintains all memories of the revelers and their exploits, and for future generations will explain our people's stories. And, of course, Tanager's younger brother, Finch, who is a gifted fighter and captain of the Blade Dancers, a local defense force.
He has high-achieving brothers.
Yeah, and Aaron, you know that he does not like that.
No, I know he doesn't.
Yeah.
I feel like we should maybe talk to Robin. Have you seen him around lately?
Oh, yes, I believe he's upstairs at the moment. Feel free to go up, or I can go call him for you.
I think maybe we'll drop in on him. Thank you.
Alrighty. You guys continue to go through the Goodfellow home, seeing that these trend of plastering their walls with photos of family and things like that. As you get higher up in the tree, you notice that it is not all the brothers. It's more of like the ancestral, like, family members. You go up a few floors and to the room that she would have pointed out to you, and inside you find you were looking for Robin, right?
Yes.
Okay. You find a, like, very tall, very muscly built. His white robes are like those of status, like much finer fabric than some of the other satyrs around, and like a little bit more tailored to his frame than others, who just basically put on a bed sheet. We're like, time for a funeral.
This is the bard?
Yes.
Okay.
He, like, looks down, smiles at you. He has, like, very short, incredibly curly hair. And it's like, oh, hello. I thought no meetings. My brother's getting married.
Yes, we're here to talk to you about that a bit. Do you have a moment? We're sort of Tanager's friends.
You see a confused look on his face and goes, okay, sure. Do you mind if I continue to put away my things? There was some relics we had to bring out for the wedding, and, you know, I made a mess looking for them.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. We just kind of wanted your opinion on something here. You know, we heard that Tanager was ascertained guilty in this murder business because everyone saw him do it, right?
Yes.
Okay. But I you know, we just really, we've come across a lot of things where, you know, your eyes, you can't be trusted, and, you know, there's changelings and polymorph spells and all kinds of things, and something tells me that Tanager just stabbed this priest with his bare hand and that somehow killed him.
Well, I don't claim to know my brother's powers, but he has a record of striking out against the church.
Perhaps, but he doesn't have a record of having a sword hand.
Well, we don't know that.
We do. We hang out with him a lot. He don't got that one. So I'm just wondering, like, did anyone have a trial? Maybe use, like, the spell of truth on him, or, you know, maybe something to actually ascertain that this happened? I mean, you're like the lore bard here. I'm sure you've heard of trials in other places, and I happen to have a lawyer right here. And nudge Beans. Yes, lawyer, right here.
Sorry, it was so warm. I fell asleep. What's going on?
Well, we're just convincing Robin here that we need to have a good old-fashioned trial and how much fun they are for the whole community.
Yes, fun. Definitely fun. Not at all boring. I don't fall asleep at all in them.
Good job, Beans.
Well, look, I do have love for my brother, and we did maybe jump the gun a little bit. It's just
What's a gun?
Oh, it's this big pit we have on the edge of town. There's no way to get across it. You have to jump over it.
There's another pit. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you miss it, and like you're like, ugh, I really shouldn't have jumped the gun that time.
That makes sense.
Yes, it is, because it's true. Anyway, I would love to see my brother innocent. If you claim you can prove it, I mean, there hasn't been a trial in a few 100 years, but, I mean, the Earl King is coming tonight anyway to officiate the wedding, and, you know, he is the judge in matters all things fey and mortal. So, yeah, I suppose we could set it up. I mean, everyone's going to be there for the wedding.
Who do you think should be the judge in this case?
I mean, traditionally it's the Earl King. Did you have another idea?
Maybe not someone who... I feel like that might be a bit biased, you know, towards the Fae. Actually, I do have an idea. So, there's this guy. His name's Simon the Good, right? Totally impartial, super wise, very sagely, and definitely not biased towards Tanager at all, because actually he was dating Tanager's ex, Drusilla. So I'm definitely not going to be biased towards Tanager here. Maybe he could be the judge.
Make a persuasion check.
That's 10 plus 17 is 27.
Okay, they're going to roll opposed. I'm going to say this guy is also a high-level lore bard. So, but to beat a 27, let's see his bonus on this one. He has to get a 16 or above on the dice.
Okay.
He got a 6. So,
yay!
he's like, okay, I think we can work with that. It would be good to have an impartial judge. Can you get them here before the wedding?
Of course, I'll just call him up right now. I mean, he's a druid. He can get through the woods real quick.
All right. Well, bring him there. We'll have him meet the Earl King, and if they can come to an agreement, and the Earl King gives him his blessing, yeah, you're good.
All right, perfect. Aaron just calls him up and, hey, Simon, get here now. Drop GPS coordinates.
What's going on?
Oh, you're going to be the judge in Tanager's trial.
Me?
Yes. Come on, I'm cute. Do it.
Fine, you are cute. All right. Bye. Wait, do you guys say I love you yet?
Maybe not. We're not quite there.
Okay. He wouldn't have said it then.
I think Simon does. Simon does. Aaron doesn't.
Oh, that hurts.
Oh, he says you rock a lot. Hey, you rock. Talk to you later.
Oh, yeah, I know. Thanks.
Cool.
That's worse.
Yeah.
It's like, you rock. Thanks, I know.
Hey, he knows who he's dating. Yeah, so what would you guys like to do now? Do you have any more questions for Robin, or would you like to potentially poke around more, or...
I want to poke around and find Tanager.
Okay. So Robin's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go. I got something else to do now instead of the wedding. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. And he walks out of his room.
Thank you.
Cool. So give me an investigation, I guess. Anybody who wants to give me an investigation, feel free to.
I feel like that's not my strong suit, but I got a 14 on this one. 14 plus 3 is 17.
12.
24 for Beans.
Cool. So between like Beans and Aaron, you guys like are looking around. You eventually get pretty high up into the house, and at the end of a semi-dark hallway, you see a room with the name Tanager carved into it.
Okay. Hey, Olive, open that door.
Olive knocks on the door because we always knock on doors
we knock on the doors before we go in.
before we go in.
Might have to break it.
Oh, that's fine. As long as we knock first.
It's quiet on the other side. You hear no sound of movement.
Okay, let's break in.
Remember, he got turned into a goat.
Yeah. Beans, you're much better at this than I am. Go ahead.
Okay, let me use my ultimate powers of breaking in. I open the door.
It is unlocked.
All right.
So you open the door. You see like a teenager's bedroom, essentially, with like posters and pieces of art, like clearly self-made, like pinned to the walls and things like that. The bed is, a little bit on the smaller side. There's a small writing desk, and sort of sitting just in an open space on the room is what appears to be Tanager. Tanager, had the goat legs, the goat eyes. Now he has sort of a more full goat head. And there's just, like, sort of his humanoid chest and arms. Like, very Bahamut. Like, or Baphomet. The, like, symbol of the... Yeah, that's the one. I can't talk. Yeah, but he's goat upper half, goat lower half, human torso. And he is sitting with, like, his knees on the ground, just sort of staring forward.
So, these posters on the wall, are they just posters Tanager's made of himself?
Give me an insight check.
So they just all say, like, Tanager the Great, Tanager
A lot
the
of
amazing.
landscapes.
Okay, 16.
You get the feeling none of them are forests. You think he draws places he would like to go.
Okay, hopefully that would have given Olive time to check the wording on Tongue of Sun and Moon.
Oh, yeah, we can... Anything that can speak a language, we can understand it, and I actually can read it to you if you'd like.
I've just found it myself, but... Yeah.
Okay.
Tanager has not lost his ability to speak, so don't worry about the wording.
Okay. Yeah, any creature that can understand a language can understand what we say.
Cool.
It just, my heart is breaking, and I, like, as a player who's so used to having polymorph, I wish I could turn him back, So, like, Olive can't do anything, so I'm just gonna cry.
If we need to, I can turn him back. I have polymorph. I have several charges of it, actually.
Aaron, turn him back. Turn him back, Aaron.
I mean, for an hour, sure. But he says he can still talk, right?
I mean, you haven't attempted to talk to him.
Yeah.
You've just sort of been talking around him, but yeah.
Hey, Tanager, you okay there?
Yes,
Did you kill the priest?
I guess so.
Do you not remember?
I don't think I did it, but everybody says I did, so I guess I did.
What are your memories of that day?
I don't think I should talk about it.
Why?
Oh, come on.
Because it didn't happen.
Well...
Anybody who tells you that didn't happen might have their own motivation for convincing you of that. We're on your side, Tanager. And I'm gonna offer him a hug because he's just breaking my heart.
Yeah, he very mechanically, like, hugs you back.
Oh, no.
He's just mimicking motions.
Oh god, I'm polymorphing him back.
Polymorph him back.
All right. Let me put down I'm using up a charge here.
Cool. So you polymorph Tanager back and you see a little more like recollection in his eyes. But I mean, is this like just regular polymorph or true polymorph?
Regular.
Okay.
I did read it. It does turn his intelligence and let me read it here. The target's game statistics, including mental ability scores, are replaced by the statistics of the chosen beast. So I am returning him back to his mental ability scores.
I guess I'll put this one up to the group. We have some DMs here. Do you think polymorph would remove a mind-influencing spell effect? Or would that carry over?
I would say that would probably carry over.
Yeah, so Tanager is now like fully sentient, but he still is sort of like being very agreeable. So he's like, oh, hey.
What spell was used on him? Can I do an Arcana check?
Well, yeah, do an Arcana check. I'll even take a Detect Magic if somebody has it, and that could give you advantage, perhaps.
You're looking at 2 monks here, buddy. Not happening.
I don't think I have Detect Magic.
People keep.
You want us to fall out of a window? We'll do it, but
Yeah.
Detect Magic, no chance.
No.
All right. Well, I got a +3 on Arcana. 16. So +3 is 19.
Yay, Aaron.
Pretty good. You don't know the exact spell, but some powerful version of Dominate Person.
Interesting.
And then a true polymorph was what did the goat thing.
Interesting. Somebody has some high-level magic up in here. Trying to see what I can do to counter this.
As you read your spells, because I know that can take a while, I hug the stiff Tanager who's like, this is just so incredibly sad. And I'm like, we're here for you. We're going to make sure you're safe. Please, it'll help us if you tell us what you remember. I know that they're telling you not to, but we're your buddies. Come on, tell us.
I know, and I love you guys. This is just what I gotta do, you know? It's for my people, I guess. And, but that night, I'm gonna give him a wisdom saving throw. He's not bad at those. Didn't break the spell check, but got close enough to where you see he's really struggling. He goes, I mean, if you really want to know, you should talk to somebody. Never mind. I was alone when I went up to the priest. Because that's what everybody saw. So that's what happened then.
I could do something here, you guys. You tell me. I have a ring that has 3 charges of the wish spell. I could always just break the enchantment on him.
As a DM, I'd be pretty upset if you revivified my murder victim in a murder mystery, so I'm going to go with don't do that now.
That's why I asked instead of just doing it.
Yeah. I have one question I want to ask Tanager. I know you can't tell us what happened that night. Like, I understand that there's this... Aaron is telling me about the Dominate Person, and I can tell something's magically wrong, so I'm abandoning the tell us what happened that night course of questions, and I'm asking, don't tell us what happened that night, but tell me, why did you come back to this town? I thought you'd left Pan's Folly. I thought you were hanging out with us in Nicomoy.
You see he has no problem saying this. Like, there's no, like, mental check he's saying to have his words influenced. Well, I mean, the mob's not happy with me, so I came back to, let things cool before I talk to him, and I gotta learn how to heal, guys. That's why I came to talk to the priest, and he told me no, and then I guess I came back later and stabbed him.
Okay, so Tanager is here because of a certain Fight Club incident in which he earned quite a lot of money betting on himself and skewing the match results, and then was unable to heal his girlfriend. So if you want to know more about that, listeners, you can check out Fire Roasted Kittens.
Also, check out the tomb where it happens, where his hero dies in front of him, because he has only, like, mind-influencing cleric spells and things like that. So he could have healed, or banished, or done any sort of anti-demon thing, but didn't.
Okay, so it's both of our faults. It's Beans and Olive's fault that you're here.
He had 2 rough sessions where being a bad cleric sucked for him.
All right, we sowed these seeds. Let's reap our rewards.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're still kind of mad about the whole flask thing.
Class?
Yeah, before I dipped out of town, I stole a pretty important relic. And anybody who's adventured with him knows that he has a very special drinking flask to him. Or the horn, I believe.
Yeah.
So when I came back to kill the priest, I guess, it didn't seem out of sorts for me to strike out, I suppose.
All right, well, is marrying a Fey lady all that bad?
I guess not.
Oh, no. Okay, I can't. I'm just gonna continue to hug this wooden board.
Well, no, he's sentient now, so he can, hug you back and goes oh, Olive. But he's just not all there.
No.
Olive, can I borrow you for a moment? I've had an idea. I just want to chat with you quickly because, it's a monk thing.
Yeah.
So we just take Olive off to one side.
Yeah.
Okay, Olive, I think you can do this as well because I think we've been practicing it during our downtime. We can, if I'm correct, we can both cast astral projection.
Yeah.
Now, I'm thinking if we take Tanager into the astral plane, then it does separate us from our bodies, so any spell effects that are affecting our physical forms doesn't apply in the astral plane. So we can basically just, sit around in a circle, hold hands, and we all go into the astral plane, and then we can talk, and no one will be able to overhear us if anyone's listening at the door, because we're in a different plane, and all we have to do is hope that no one disturbs us, otherwise we could be lost forever in a different plane. But that's a thing for later on. We don't need to worry about that now.
Well,
Hey,
I can
Beans?
protect you
What
in
you
the
think?
meantime.
Can you do me a favor and get an inspiration dice for that very clever plan?
I will try to remember that.
Wow, that's an amazing plan. I've never been able to take anyone else with me, though.
Oh, well, the
Could
spell
you-
itself says you end up to 8 willing creatures.
Yeah, but the
So-
monk ability can't.
Well,
Beans-
if we work together, I'm sure we can do something about it.
Beans, can you remove the inspiration dice, please? Sorry. You had me.
It's 3 very tiny little words. It does say for yourself only. However,
Sorry.
2 monks who can do the same thing working together. I'm sure we can.
Yes, I will totally allow you to do that with an Arcana or Religion check. But because you didn't read your ability, no inspiration.
That's
Sorry, I
right.
should have been quiet.
No. Teacher, you forgot to assign homework.
Wait, no.
No, I'm just razzing. Stop, you're squeaking. It's breaking my heart. I was going for tears this time. Okay. So like I said, this is going to be a difficult check. Because I'm going to say the spell sort of is anchoring him here. He has a couple spells on him already. So it's just it's like pulling someone out of mud, essentially.
Well, I am very confident in their ability to do this. I'm going to give them a bardic inspiration die.
Yay.
Just to make this more complicated, because you're trying to use your abilities together, you're both going to make checks. There is no DC, but you have to be within 5 points of each other.
Oh, no.
You have to do a unity move.
Oh, like Dragon Ball Z, we were dancing and we meet pointed fingers.
You have to do pointed fingers onto the sides of Tanager's temples,
Okay.
and then he can come along.
Right. Well, so it's Arcana or what?
Or religion.
Okay,
'Cause that's
both
sort of
plus
like your
0 for me.
Your
Yeah.
monistic training.
Okay, I guess we should do a countdown and then say our number, right?
Yeah, I think maybe if the only thing that stops, if the only thing that will stop us doing it is not, being within 5 of each other, then maybe we don't use the bardic inspiration.
No.
Can't you use that after the roll?
Yeah, you can use it selectively. So let me give you both one, and then whoever is lower can use it if necessary.
Okay, I would like a song.
You'd like a song?
Yes, I like
I
your
don't
voice.
think you need that for bardic inspiration.
You gotta pump us up. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh.
What? Could you just like do a quick harmonize of the word unity?
Unity.
Killing me,
Cool.
Beans.
You're all inspired.
Beans is a countertenor, but player is not.
Okay, cool. Roll them up.
Okay, that was an 18 for. Gonna say it 3, 2, 1 style.
Okay.
Oops. Okay. Wait. Fail.
3, 2,
2,
1.
1, 13.
18.
Okay, so it sounds like Beans is going to be rolling his inspiration. Oh wait, no, that's within 5.
It's within 5, right?
Yeah, you're fine. You passed it on the first one.
Perfect. You guys just save those for later.
You like pull yourselves up and like in this motion of like, imagine if you were standing up from a chair and you're in a different room once you've stood up. It's like that, but then you're just in this endless, misty, like out in space, but space is also just filled with these ribbons of like raw magic and etheric power. Welcome to the Astral Plane.
Okay, Beans, don't chase those ribbons. They're not real ribbons, okay? Pay attention.
They're very real ribbons made out of pure arcana.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
And you, sort of as you're standing up, pull Tanager's spirit out of his body.
Oh, that's right. You're holding on to Tanager, so you can't go chasing ribbons.
Yes, and just to make it more complicated, if you let go of Tanager, he'll be lost at the Astral Plane.
Oh gosh. I also hold on to Beans because I'm like, I see the look in your eyes with the ribbons, and I'm like, okay.
Also, Aaron, just a small bit of flavor, you see everybody's pupils go starry.
Okay. I will guard everyone's bodies.
Perfect. You guys are in the Astral Plane, and Tanager's like, oh my god, guys, I'm so screwed. Look, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. This is what I tried to explain to them. I know everybody saw me do it, but I was with Abs. Albatross. Look, be delicate about this, but it's my brother's wife. It is not what you think. It's not what you think. We had a thing way before. Like, I had to... Look, it's complicated. Just, where are we, by the way?
Well, I mean, technically we're in the Astral Plane, but I think it looks a bit different to everyone. So to me it looks like it looks like a big, like, inside of a tent. So it's a circular area, there's a fire in the middle, everyone's curled up and comfy, there are ribbons hanging from the ceiling and with like little balls of yarn on so you can bat them when you're lying down. It's great fun. What does it look like to you, Olive?
I think it looks like the infinite emptiness when you look down an alligator's mouth and there's darkness back there and teeth. And I don't want to go anywhere. I'm like, I'm just here, staying in one spot. Definitely don't see an illicit over there.
Look, I don't want to ruin my brother's life, okay?
Which brother?
Robin.
The other one, screw him.
Well, I mean, Robin's the one who's married to Albatross. Look, we used to date,
okay.
And then I left, and I guess she shacked up with my brother afterwards. And now I come back to town, she wants to talk, and... Look, I'm not accusing her, but at the same time I kill a priest. You know I love killing priests, so I would totally own up to it if I did it.
So you were talking with Abs, and then something happened, and that led immediately to people accusing you of killing the priest? Like, that's the last thing you have clear?
She's my alibi, but I didn't want to ruin her life.
'Cause she asked to talk to you. Okay.
What does she want to talk to you about?
She wanted me to stay.
'Cause she's your sister now, and, like, you're a family?
he kind of, like, gives you the, like, no, that's not why she wanted me to stay, Olive.
Because her husband was abusing her and you had to save her?
No, because we were childhood sweethearts. Look, my brothers are jerks, but she feels like she's settled. And I don't, like, first of all, I can't stay because I'm a fire-breathing kitten, and I have Nixie and Willie and, oh, poor Curry, back at home waiting for me, and I just bought a boat, so, like, I really want to take that thing out a couple more times. She won't leave, she wanted me to stay. She tried to kiss me, and then I said no and I got out of there. But since I'm never coming back to this place again, especially now I know I can't even learn my clerical powers here, I didn't want to ruin her life.
That's very good of you. Like, way too good. You're really way too nice. Beans, thoughts? I'm so awkward. I'm just...
Well, you were there when Drusilla said that thing to me.
Yeah?
About how I need to do something selfless. I think maybe this might be it. Plus, it's just the Feywild. I'll break out.
Yeah, how long can a marriage hold you, right? Hey.
Well, apparently this body is the problem. They ruined my body. Look at my beautiful face.
I can tolerate many things, but making me ugly is not one of them.
Yeah. So, I mean, the tattoo might fade, but give me 100 years. I'll figure it out.
Okay, so this conversation you had with Albatross, that was happening at the same time that supposedly everyone else saw you stab the priest.
Yes, if she was to admit that she doesn't love her husband and was talking to me, that would be my alibi. Not like it matters, since no one cares about the truth here. They just want to go back to the party.
So who was the one who put you under all these spells?
Oh, well, I mean, it was pretty much everyone in my family.
Oh, so a big old team up.
Yeah.
Fun family.
Well, look, I'd rather family hurt me than a bunch of strangers, I guess.
Tanager!
I don't know. I don't know. It's more like socially, acceptable to attack strangers back than family.
God, I wish I could smoke here. He pats his soul for a pack of cigarettes.
Oh, you can. It's fine. They got really good air conditioning.
Olive is looking at an infinite abyss like, yeah, I don't think you're going to stink up the room.
Well, the problem is I don't think cigarettes have a soul, so they wouldn't be able to go to the Astral Plane with Tanager.
Wait.
I guess he tries to huff some magic dust.
Yeah, we're closed. Like, inanimate objects can be here, so it's not...
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Cool. So he lights up a space cigarette. Tastes weird.
Okay, two things. One, people who try to hurt you like that have lost the right to call themselves your family. And two, we're your family, dum-dum.
Well, I mean, Olive. Well, look, they didn't intentionally try to hurt me. You just don't make waves here. Plus, I don't know.
Well, I will. I'll make waves. Beans, how do we go back? I'm very afraid. I'm just like doing a grab and a cower.
Well, to be honest, I'm not quite sure, but I just want to run over the information we've gathered before we do go back, because let's face it, Tanager's less helpful than a sack of potatoes at the moment. So,
not my fault.
Well, no, but so just to sum up, you claim innocence because at the time you were with Albatross, who is your brother Robin's wife, and then she asked you to stay for romantical reasons and tried to kiss you, but you said no because you've got better things to be getting on with, paraphrasing. And that happened at the same time that everyone else attests that you went and stabbed the priest, whose name was what? Sorry, I don't have that.
Oh, Crow.
Crow, okay. Odd.
Interesting choice for a priest.
The same time, everyone's like, oh, he went and stabbed Crow with his hand. I mean, how would you even stab someone with your hand?
Right? I use a maul. I don't
Exactly.
even use stabbing weapons.
Especially not
So-
my hand.
Yeah, I have an 8 strength, guys. Even if I had a sword hand, I would probably couldn't do that.
So I would wager a guess that Albatross is quite well respected among the community, being, you know, Robin's wife, who is, you know, the law piper.
Yes.
Yeah, law piper. So all we have to, well, one of two things we need to do is get her to corroborate the story. So she will, you know, say in public that she was there talking to you. She doesn't have to say what about. She just has to say that you were there at the time, and then could not possibly, because they'd believe, you know, her if she's like, "Oh, my husband's the law piper. You know, you'll believe me," and they'll be like, "Yes, we will believe you." So that's one of the things we got to do, and then the next thing we have to do is find out who the fake Tanager really was, and why they decided to kill Crow, this specifically disguised as Tanager. Why that was going on. And if that all fails, Tanager will just teleport you out.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Tanager, who would become the next priest if this priest died? After, because Crow died.
That's for the Divine Order of the Reveler to decide. They find the one who knows the Reveler the best and is, the most understanding of their version of the Reveler.
If you had a guess.
I don't know. I've been gone for like 13 years. I have no idea what the ranks are like.
Okay.
If you want Tanager for funsies, we could interfere a bit with that one and get you in charge.
Yeah, but then I'd have to live here, and I really don't want to live an immortal life, okay?
Wait, they're immortal?
Yeah, as long as you stay in Pan's Folly, it activates something in our Fae blood that makes us immortal.
Yeah, but if he was meant to be immortal, then how'd he get killed?
Well, it doesn't make you invincible. You just don't age past your prime.
Tamura Pierce immortality rules. Immortal until murdered.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of boring.
Yeah, it's boring here. You know I love a party, but you think I'm gonna hang out in a frickin' tree all day? No. That's one of the many reasons why I left.
Have you seen a blonde satyr around?
Why would you ask that?
Because I saw a blonde satyr around.
Tanager, give me an insight check.
I think you meant to say Olive. You said Tanager.
Oh, sorry. Olive, give me an insight check for Tanager.
I was like, I know you're separating DM and player, but...
Ugh.
14.
Tanager looks upset by that question, but you're not sure why. No, I haven't seen a blonde satyr around.
I'm like in a relationship now, so I have no good excuses for hunting somebody down. So I give up on it. I got a Richard.
Oh,
Everybody knows
Olive,
I got a Richard.
I found the way out.
Oh, thank God.
And there's like a toilet chain just hanging from nothing. Here it is. I pull it and there's a big flushing noise.
Yeah, all of your respective universes flushes. It goes into the throat of the alligator. Everything sucks into your fire pit. And then you are drained back into your bodies. It has been an uneventful maybe 10 minutes, Aaron.
Okay. I've just been hanging out.
Yeah, you just go kind of like, well, actually, if you want, give me an investigative as room.
Okay.
You can poke around.
17. What was my investigate? I think it was a +3. It is, so non-natural 20.
You find, like, basically in a drawer, a framed picture of maybe a 12-year-old Tanager, thick Coke bottle glasses, messed up teeth, patchy sort of hair, like just like a, like when a teenager starts growing a mustache and it looks just like 4 lines, with a big smile on his face, sitting on a stool, clutching a stuffed satyr.
This explains so much.
And yeah, that's just sort of like a fun thing you see.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep that, actually. That's gonna go right in my bag of holding.
Cool. So you just drop the whole framed picture frame into your bag.
Yes, I do.
And then, yeah, you poke around a little more. You kind of get the vibe of what Bean saw before, of like, Tanager would just sit in his room and be like, I want to be not here. I wonder what not here looks like. And yeah. You also find, like, a bunch of, like, basically failed clerical homework.
Gotcha.
And probably a broken set of panpipes. Like someone got mad and threw them against the wall. Cool, and with that, everybody snaps back to reality.
Yeah. See, I said it would work, and look, we're even in the correct bodies. That's useful. That's gone wrong sometimes. The number of times I've woken up as Crud. Whew.
Like when you're sleeping in the Crud pocket, if Crud falls asleep, or in the Beans pocket of Crud's coat, if Crud falls asleep, there's a small chance that you switch places.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes I've fallen asleep, Crud's fallen asleep, Jenny's fallen asleep. We've all done a big switcheroo, and it's been this whole thing.
Oh, I would listen to that episode. Okay, and with that, you guys kind of hear a knock at the door. You see, like an older version of Robin. You would assume this to be Tanager's father, Robin the Fourth. Goes, Tanager, oh, you have guests? Well, it's time to go have your trial, I suppose. And he just goes like, all right, Dad. And he goes like, wait, why are you a person? He snaps his fingers and casts a Dispel Magic. Rolled pretty good, and dispels your polymorph, Aaron. And he goes back to his previous goat man form.
Okay. Should we also assume that Simmond has arrived?
Yes, you would assume Simmons here, and like whatever Robin was doing, the trial, basically instead of the wedding, like where like the officiant would like stand behind and be like, marriage.
It brings us together today.
A trial. It brings us together today. And sort of the wedding site has been retrofitted into a courtroom.
Perfect. Yes, Simmons should be here by now. He's a level 20 druid, so he has, I'm sure, that teleport by plant ability.
Also, probably enough spare coin to just go to the local teleportation tower and be like, hey, I need to go here.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. So either way, he made it there within the, like, sort of half hour or so it's been since you talked to Robin. You guys enter, and basically the pit has been half emptied, and the courtroom is in the lower portion of the pit, under sort of the staring visage of the reveler. You see Simon the Kind like waves to you. He's in a conversation with a 9-foot tall, gangly, like half tree, half deer, like half wolf being. You would assume this potentially was the Earl King that was mentioned before. And they seem to have even a pretty, like, cordial conversation. And then he reaches out his, like, foot-long clawed hand and shakes hands with Simmond. And goes and sits on the left side of what is now a courtroom. And Simmond takes his place behind the podium.
Okay, one of you two, maybe... Actually, Olive, we need to go and find Albatross. Quickly.
Yeah.
So, would it be too much to ask for you to stall here? Like, you don't need to say anything. I mean, if you can, just be like, oh, we need Form 32A to be filled in properly before the proceedings and all that jazz. Or if you really want, just knock over some stuff and cause some chaos.
Here goes.
Just like 15 minutes. That's all we need.
Okay. All right. I walk up past the... you said there's like a seating area and then there's like a satyr...
Yeah, pretty much before I described the pit as like a rectangular sort of like dance pit, now picture it like a standard rectangular church where there are places to sit on the left, places to sit on the right, an aisle in the middle, a little space in the front leading up to the podium, and like instead this is now a courtroom where the podium is where the judge sits, and sort of small tables have been erected on the left and right for the defense and prosecution instead of husband and wife.
I've got a stalling plan specially catered to narcissists. Attendance. So I'm going to say, before we can start the proceedings, we need to know that everybody is here. Earl, do you have a list of all of the residents of Pan's Folly?
No, but I could blow my horn and make everyone subservient. He pulls like
No. That's not what we need. We need attendance to make sure that everyone is here. Robin the Fourth.
Yeah, you see he's sitting on the prosecution side.
Does he say here?
Oh, here?
Eagle.
Here?
What's your name?
Okay.
They're all gonna want to say.
Yeah, give me a persuasion check.
No! Beans, why? No. Don't call
Can
on
I claim
Olive.
the help action just by standing like next to her and nodding affirmatively?
Who is going to find Eagle? Or not Eagle, sorry. Who's going to find Albatross?
It would probably be Beans to go and find Albatross, so we can have Aaron helping out and being the hype man for Olive.
Of course.
Cool. So, Aaron, could you quickly describe how you give the help action, and then Beans make an investigation as you're just, like, looking for this person?
Hopefully, the thing that would really tell us who Albatross is when Olive points at it and goes, "What's your name?" You're Albatross. So let's hope.
Yeah. And I'm going to walk around glaring at everyone who doesn't comply immediately.
Excellent.
Yep. Add a little intimidation here.
21 in investigation. And don't forget, Olive, you do still have some bardic inspiration from before.
How does that work?
You can choose to add a D12.
D12, wow, okay.
High level bard.
High level bard, baby.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. So after my -1 in persuasion.
Well, remember, you also,
Plus-
I'm giving you the help action, so you have advantage.
Thank goodness for that advantage. That was a 16 on the dice instead of a 5. So now we're at 15. Plus your bardic inspiration was at 9. So 24?
24.
Cool. So, Beans, you're sort of running around, like, sort of looking like, hey, have you seen Albatross? Have you seen Albatross? And then you're close enough. You sort of hear from the pit. Olive goes like, and your name? And you hear Albatross. So, yeah, she was in the crowd.
Can I grab her and escort her up to the witness stand?
No, we need to talk to her first.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You can't just surprise someone like that.
Simon goes like, as it is the appointed time agreed upon by both parties, the defense and prosecution.
No, I'm still asking people's names. What's your name? You're here to bear witness. What is your name, witness?
I'm Lark.
I keep going. It's a whole room full of people. I'm going to get their full names. And if Beans still needs more time, I'm going to start saying, I'm going to get out I've got charcoal and parchment. I'm going to ask for each of their addresses and age. If witnesses must be official. And
okay,
please,
I
Beans,
need
go
one
fast.
more persuasion check because the satyrs are about to become bored and give up on the trial.
Quick, Aaron, start beatboxing.
Aaron. Yeah.
Yes. Aaron starts beatboxing.
And grab Albatross quickly.
And I
Make
grab
her
Albatross
sneak.
very firmly and lead her over towards Beans. My intimidation check was a 26.
Okay, so you grab Albatross firmly, drag her towards Beans, who is like booking it down the aisle back to the trial area.
He runs very fast.
And trust me, Beans can book it.
You have a moment to speak to her as you're walking down, the aisle way to like sort of the like people who are important to the trial area.
Okay, under Beans' breath, we're going to say, right, listen, I know that you went to go and see Tanager at the same time this was meant to have happened.
Her face drops.
I know also what it was about.
If it was possible for her face to drop more, it would have.
However, I'm not going to ask you to reveal that particular detail. All we need from you is for you to say that you were with Tanager at the time. Don't have to say what it was about. All we need is a mistrial. They'll throw it out. If we can prove Tanager was not there, and your word will count for quite a lot round here, then he should be safe.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay.
You guys know I'm also definitely casting Zone of Truth on this area, correct?
DM, I would request that instead of charisma, I can add my intelligence modifier to this. Because I'm going logical and procedural rather than just charm.
I'll allow it.
It's only an extra 2, but it can help. And then I will also use my own bardic inspiration, so that's an extra d12 on top. Okay, so I rolled a 17 on the dice.
Good.
Plus 2 for intelligence, and then an extra 6 on the d12, so that will be a 25 for persuasion.
Yeah, she looks around, looks at you. I suppose. I don't. All right. I'll testify.
Thank you. Anyway, we'll call you when we need you. That's all you need to say is, I was with Tanager when this was happening. He was not there.
All right. And with your witness in tow,
One witness.
the trial is set.
She's gonna roll over on us. She's so motivated to do. She's setting up Tanager for some reason. I don't know why. She's gonna roll. She's gonna screw us over. I'm prepared.
We're not going to let her. As long as she can't roll higher than me.
Are you guys, thinking this pretty hard? Are you guys actually worried about the way this trial is going to go?
Yes, because we don't know why he was set up. Oh, or who benefits from it. Que bono.
Beans, how do you feel right now? Are you feeling confident?
I'm feeling okay. I mean, all we need to do is just establish that the facts that are presented in, the prosecution's case are wrong. And that's all we need. All we need is reasonable doubt to get an acquittal, because it's not our job to prove that he didn't do it. It's their job to prove that he did. And if we have someone who will swear blind that he was not there, then it's fine.
But when you don't know your enemy, you don't know what their tools are.
Well, once
So I'm
again,
worried
we
about
can always just teleport him out and us too, and it will be fine.
Aaron, do you feel confident about the trial or no?
The trial, no, but we are 3 god-level powerful people. We're level 19. There's really nobody around more powerful than us. So I'm pretty sure...
I could just kill everyone here, says
Yeah.
Aaron.
I'm pretty sure that the end of this day is going to go in our favor.
As you guys are walking up, you're in the middle of the aisle, you kind of turn to the side, and that blonde satyr is there again.
Ah! You!
Hey, I'm gonna be honest. I think we all might be a little worried about the way this is going. Everyone make perception checks real quick.
13.
26.
Also 26.
Pretty much everyone notices time has stopped.
You!
Who is he?
Do you want to try this over? I could roll it back if you guys want.
Ooh, that sounds like fun. I thought I might have just accidentally breathed in some of Tanager's funky grass, but
Wait, why? How could we have done this differently, though? What would rolling this back have done? We've enacted our plan pretty perfectly here.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I was picking up on some bad vibes from you guys, so I just wanted to give you the option. Okay? We're not rolling it back?
Well,
oh no, let's go again. Let's go again.
Yeah.
You want to go again?
Trials are like water slides. Always go again.
Yes,
Always
yes.
go again.
I don't know what the enemy's going to bring to me, so I don't know. You should never be surprised in a trial. Any lawyer will tell you, right, Beans?
What?
You've told me that lots of times.
okay, but
Aaron, make an insight check right now.
Okay. I rolled a 12. I'm gonna give myself a bardic inspiration here. Plus 5 is 17. Plus what is my...
It's the theme song to Boston Legal.
I don't know if anyone picked up on that subtle Law and Order reference when you were talking to Robin, where he's like, hey, I'm just going to move boxes while you're talking to me about information.
I got 18 on my insight.
The satyr got a wicked smile on their face when Beans mentioned, like, ooh, that could be fun.
So he's all about fun. I mean, is this Pan? Is this...
You have not got this satyr's name.
Can I stop and ask him his name?
But yeah, please do it in character.
Oh, hey, I just want... It seems like you have control over time, which makes me think we're not in a rush right this second. So I just want a little bit more information. Like, what's your name? How do you fit into all this? What are your thoughts on Tanager and his innocence?
Oh, I'm Pan. Tanager is my prophet, and I want the best for him.
Oh, good. So you know he's innocent, right?
Tanager innocent. And they snap their fingers, and you guys feel all of your movements like you're being pulled backwards, and you're back at the entrance of Pan's Folly. A few hours ago, with all of the information you have now, but time has been reset. And we will pick up with this after the break, guys.
Yay. That's so fun.
Today we were joined by Olive.
What a good story.
Beans.
Back at the top of the water slide. Oh no, I hate water.
And Aaron.
I don't know what to do now.
I know what we can do. We can leave a review on this here podcast. It's always fun. It takes like a couple of seconds. And here's the really fun bit, everyone. If you leave us a particularly nice review, we will read it out on air like we're going to do with this one right here.
Oh, not true. We will definitely read the mean ones too.
Yeah, but we will make fun of you because you're wrong.
We'll read them. Yeah, we'll read them and cry just a little bit. Anyway, this review comes from Verstacker. Gives it a wonderful, lovely 5-star review. It says, hilarious D&D that is easy to listen to. They say, this is the first D&D podcast I found that really reminds me of the games from back in high school. You probably know the ones where you and your friends met up as often as you could and would be changing who is behind the screen just so everyone got a chance to play their characters and tell their stories. They have hilarious hijinks of the chaotic, silly variety, my favourite type of chaotic or silly, as it so happens. Arson solving almost as many problems as it causes. This is definitely this crew for that. And I really enjoy that each episode is self-contained. There is an overarching narrative that comes to light as you listen, but as they say every episode, you can start listening at any point in the podcast. Plus, with only a few players every session and each PC being introduced, it's incredibly easy to keep track of each character. In short, if you haven't given the fire-breathing kittens a chance, you should do so. Thank you, Verstacker.
Wow, Beans, that reviewer sounds like really cool and attractive.
Oh yeah, I'd say so.
Did you get that vibe from them?
I definitely got that vibe.
Well,
that's only cool, attractive people give us these reviews.
Exactly.
You want to join their ranks, you know what to do.
Yeah, 5 stars, baby.
Bye.
Bye.
We hope that you're enjoying this episode of the Fire Breathing Kittens podcast. Please leave us a review on iTunes.com. If you leave us a review, we'll read it on air. It's fun listening to the words of your review get read by the characters you know and love, so go to iTunes.com and leave us a review today. Can you think of someone who might enjoy this podcast? Please share it with them. Is their birthday coming up? A special anniversary? Would you like us to wish them a happy day on your behalf? You can arrange for us to read your shout-out on air at firebreathingkittenspodcast.com through our partnership with the website Buy Me a Coffee. Do you enjoy reading books? You can find paperbacks and ebooks based on our adventures on Amazon.com in the bookstore, Fire Breathing Kittens, that part's all one word, podcast. The authors do a great job of adapting the stories into fun novels. We also have official merchandise on Redbubble.com. Imagine owning a notepad with the Fire Breathing Kitten logo on the front, or a t-shirt with one of your favorite characters. And lastly, I'd like to take a moment to sincerely thank all of you. We don't pay to advertise this show, so the only way we can grow is through the support of listeners like you. Thank you.
Welcome back to Fire Breathing Kittens. Would anybody like to recap us real quick?
Ooh, I will.
Go for it, Aaron.
Okay, so we found out that Tanager was getting married to the Fae Queen of Autumn, and it was a surprise, so we decided to check it out. We go to his hometown. We find out that apparently he stabbed the priest in the middle of a crowded room with his bare hand, and everybody just bought that and said, oh, he's surely guilty. We'll marry him off as punishment to this Fae Queen. He has been spelled into the shape of a goat, and enchanted to just kind of be compliant and go along with this. Something else was happening, but he can't quite tell us. But we did find out that he was actually with Albatross, the wife of his older brother, who is the lore bard of the town. Apparently a very powerful position. And they were together. She was saying, I still love you. I want to do the dirty. And that was when the murder happened. And we got to the point of getting a trial set up. However, it wasn't looking good. We didn't have all the information. There's a lot of backstory here that we need to find. So Pan, the god of the forest and the patron of Tanager, stopped time and set things back to the minute that we walked into town so that we could get the information we need and start this over. Yeah.
Nailed it. So, my adventurers, what are we doing?
Okay, first thing I'm doing, I'm going to call up Simmond and get him here again.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, Hen, what's going on?
Hey, get over here.
Where's here?
Okay, I don't have anything going on. Earlier he had made plans later on, but now he doesn't have plans. So he's like, whatever, well, I'll come.
Yeah, I'll send you my GPS coordinates. Walk through some trees.
Thanks. See you soon.
Guasso positioning system.
Nailed it. Cool. Simmond on the way. You now have your judge.
All right. I think we should probably go and convince them for a trial again. We know that we need one. Or do we want to gather some more information first?
I'd say we can just go and get the trial, because it's not like there's going to be a certain set amount of time between asking for a trial and then it happening. But if we go ask for the trial, then we can go, well, specifically Beans can probably go root around Robin's nest.
Nailed it.
Root around that whole area to see if there's any extra evidence. Because also if we're looking for any wrongdoing on either his or Albatross's part, then they may well have some juicy info around their bedroom area.
Yes. So let's convince Robin for the trial. And at the same time, he left his room after that, correct? He had things to do?
Yeah, he left us alone in his room.
Let's investigate his room.
That was because you had convinced him to do the trial, so he left. So if you convince him to do the trial and he's in his bedroom, he will leave.
We do that again, using the exact same steps that we took last time.
Well, things are a tiny bit different this time because you're going earlier in the day.
Oh, we won't go earlier in the day then. Let's not.
Okay.
Let's go see Abs first, you guys.
Okay, yeah.
You do need to find out where she is, though now you know her name and, like, her sort of, like, deal. So give me an investigation check with advantage.
Somebody else, not mine.
Yeah, I'm going to let the lawyer detective do this.
Well, luckily, I already have advantage on investigation checks. That's why I got that. Got my fancy things. That's a 23.
Cool. You talk around, and she is probably at the Goodfellow household.
Guys, as it turns out, she's probably at home.
Does she share a room?
She's married to Robin Goodfellow V, and he lives at the Goodfellow estate. So,
do they share the same room?
Yes, they're husband and wife.
So, is she alone in that room right now?
You would have to go there to find out.
Let's do it.
Cool. You did want to go later in the day. You didn't see her there last time. So, do you want to investigate first and, like, try to find her later in the day and split up? Or do you want to go there now and encounter a slightly different scene?
I think we should go there now, because maybe Robin won't be in the room yet, and she will. So maybe we'll catch her and not him.
Yeah, let's go for a slightly different scene.
Cool. So you arrive at the Goodfellow household, and you hear lively music and the sound of people having fun from inside.
What is wrong with these people? Their son is... Oh, they're awful. Okay, I didn't say that out loud.
Well, his dad was kind of awful already. We knew that.
Did you guys walk in or, like, knock? Or it's kind of like when you walk up to a house party, and you're like... Do I knock or do I just walk in, you know?
Ooh, Olive, we can run out up walls. Let's go up the outside.
Okay.
Aaron can talk his way in.
Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
And we'll just go up the side. One of us can let ourselves into Tanager's room. Just let him know what we're doing. And then then I can keep an eye out on like Robin and Albatross's room. So if they pop out, or I can put my little ear to the window and see if I can hear anything that they're talking about.
Yeah. I hand you a movable rod, because as your unarmored movement can take you up vertical surfaces as if they were horizontal surfaces and across liquids, you fall when you stop moving unless you click this immovable rod. So here you go, Beans.
Ooh, thank you. I mean, I do have claws and a climbing speed, but I'll take this just in case.
All right. You're definitely not going to fall off the side of the house now.
Yeah, they might have done anti-climb paint. You never know.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, we don't want you to take fall damage.
Hey.
Yeah, Crud's done anti-climb paint on his trees.
Okay, I'm going to knock on the door.
I'm just going to make a little luck roll here, and that's a 19, so Albatross opens the door.
Oh, hello, hi. I've got a package delivered. It looks like some furniture for, can't quite read this, Albatross?
Oh, Albatross? That's me.
Oh, yeah, a little bit of a special. Yeah, it looks like somebody sent you a new bedroom set. I don't know. I got it in my bag of holding here. If you could just show me where you want it, I'll put it down for you.
Oh, make a deception check, please.
Absolutely. I rolled an 11 plus 5 is 16.
That's a 9 on the dice, so... okay, cool, yeah. We can go upstairs. You walk through the room and you see... you saw from the pictures before, this is Tanager's younger brother, Finch, who is, like, easily over 6 feet tall, a total V of a man, like a Herculean satyr, just jacked as heck. And he's wrestling, like they've moved the furniture away, and he's like wrestling with another satyr on the ground. And then fully like suplexes him over his shoulder, follows it up with an elbow. The guy's like eyes go white anime style, and like foam comes out of his mouth. And everybody cheers and they're laughing. You see what you know is Tanager's father and mother sitting on the couch. His brother Robin is there watching as well. And there's like a small collection of men and women that are looking very adoringly at Finch. But you kind of glide through this room as you head up to Robin and Albatross's bedroom. Beans, were you also going to that same bedroom, or were you doing Tanager first?
Well, Olive and I can split up. If Olive wants to jump into Tanager's room, she can just let him know what's going on. and like have a bit of a good time.
And can I do a survival check to see if I can find Tanager's room? Because I kind of want to find the wrong room and explore the house a little bit.
Well, you were there before, so you know where it is.
Okay,
you can
well then...
choose to go to a different room.
I wait until Beans is off on his merry way. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go to Tanager's room. I don't want to see him. He makes me sad. So... Bye, Beans.
Cool. Give me an investigation check then.
Okay.
And this isn't so much you, like, looking for the most interesting room, but just kind of getting lucky here.
All right. The not lawyer, not detective monk. Way less useful. Got a 7, so I'm just, like, looking around.
You find, what is clearly, like, on the lower level, like a trash room.
Sounds like my jam.
Would you like to investigate the trash?
Yes.
All right, give me a investigation or perception.
Perception. 17.
That's pretty good. You find a number of dull crystals that are, like, red in color, but, like, you're a pretty high-level adventurer. These crystals have been used and drained.
Interesting.
Otherwise, it's just a truly concerning amount of liquor bottles.
Wow, these people have a problem.
But yeah, that's like the one interesting thing you find. Beans, just because I'm curious about the timing of this. Are you going to Tanger's room first? Or no, you're going right into the Robin room.
Well, not necessarily like into the room. At the very least, just up to the level of the window, and then we can just hang out and have a listen just to see if anyone is, talking about anything. But if we don't hear anything for a little while, we're going to just put our claws underneath the window latch and pry it open.
Smart move, because after a few minutes of listening, you see Aaron come in with Albatross.
Okay, we'll wait and listen.
Yeah, Aaron, go ahead. You walk into Robin's room with Albatross.
I do. I walk in and I shut the door behind me and I lock it.
She notices. Kind of is like, excuse me?
Hi. I'm sorry, I deceived you before. We're here to talk about Tanager. And about the conversation that you had with him at the moment when he supposedly murdered someone. I assume you have a minute to talk.
It's kind of weird to you. I don't know if you've done time travel before, but her face drops in the exact way you saw it do to you minutes ago. But she hasn't even made this face yet. So it's like, oh, that's kind of funny. It's the same face. She looks shocked.
I'm also going to cast Zone of Truth here.
Oof, okay. She's like, I'm going to need an intimidation check.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I have it pulled up. So first off, intimidation check. I rolled an 11. Actually, I have advantage on that. So, I rolled an 18 plus, I think, it's over 30.
Okay.
I'm never going to fail in intimidation.
She's too scared to leave the room.
Good. And I have pulled up here Zone of Truth. You create a magical zone that guards against deception in a 15-foot radius. A creature entering it or that starts its turn there must make a charisma saving throw against my spelled save DC.
4 on the dice.
She fails. They can't speak a deliberate lie while in the radius. I will know whether or not they succeed or fail.
She has failed.
Yes. So she cannot lie.
Cool.
An affected creature is aware of the spell and can avoid answering questions to which it would normally respond with a lie. She's allowed to evade. She just can't lie.
Yeah.
And if she tries to evade, I have a dagger. So, good luck.
Damn.
I'm not there.
I'm not there. Have you met Aaron's character? Come on.
Good cop, bad cop, baby. All right.
That was bad cop, bad cop.
Aaron, go for it.
So we know that you were with Tanager when the murder happened. Why did you not come forward and tell everyone this already?
I'm gonna...
Speak, woman.
Yeah, because you succeeded so hard in your Intimidate, I'm gonna have her make a wisdom saving throw to break down and confess, or, like, try to still be evasive. Not
Okay.
great. So she's like, look, I love Tanager, but he rejected me again.
And?
I'm mad about it.
Okay, so you're gonna kill someone?
I didn't kill anyone. I don't know who killed the priest.
All right, but you're gonna let him take the fall for this. He could die of misery from this.
That's a shitty thing for me to do.
Okay.
It's too late now.
No, it's not. You're gonna testify for us, but I need some more information. Did someone send you to talk to him?
No, I saw him walking towards the altar. I knew he was going to try to talk to the priest again. And I walked up, I grabbed him by the shoulder, and I told him I needed to speak to him. We went to a private place and we talked.
Did you see what happened during the murder? Did you see anyone else who looked like him? Any idea who that might have been?
No, I didn't want to be seen by anyone, so we went to a very private place. So I couldn't see anything and they couldn't see us.
Can you show me the place?
Yeah, okay.
All right. Were there plants there?
I truly don't remember. There might have been. I mean, you know... well, actually, yes. No, this is a forest. There was 100% plants there.
Good. Because we can talk to them. They can corroborate your story. All right.
Well,
is there anything that you're...
She can't lie, so she's also using this as, like, hey, I'm giving you a little bit extra information, so you know I'm currently not lying when I say this.
Okay. What do you guys think? Anything else we need to ask her?
You're alone in this room.
What? I thought Beans was here.
Well, he's
outside.
Coming
hanging
in through
out.
the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hanging from the
Currently
window like a
outside.
creep.
Beans, get in here. Help.
Hang on, Beans is just taking notes.
Either way, she's like, do you want me to take you there now?
Sure.
All right. You guys walk downstairs. Everybody's, like, sitting around and, like, you see, you know, like, a bit of a picture of the family that Tanager hates. Mother and father are sitting on one side of the couch. Finch, with his many wives and husbands, are sitting at the other side. And Robin sort of, like, waves as Albatross walks out of the house. And she's like, hey, I gotta go pick something up. I'll be back in a little bit in time for the wedding. Or I guess, actually, no one's said it yet, so no trial. But, yeah. It's a perfect little Seder Leave It to Beaver home.
While everyone is downstairs, can Beans just quickly take a little snoop around the place, maybe see if Robin has some sort of office around the place where we can just sneak in and have a look-see?
Yes, you absolutely see your opening once Aaron walks out of the room with Abigail. Albatross. You pop in. Give me an investigate, perception, like what kind of check you want to make.
Well, have a look. We'll do a... I get advantage on both of them, so it's 13 plus 9, 22 on perception.
You see that there are some chalk marks in the ground that have been attempted to be erased. You're pretty smart. Can you make an Arcana check for me?
I can certainly try. Ooh, 17 plus 2, 19.
Pretty good. Some sort of ritual casted spell was cast here. And you see a small divot in, like, sort of the center of this circle of, like, runes and arcane markings, where you're like, something was put there.
Okay, is there some way of equivalent of dusting for prints where I can try and figure out what sort of shaped object might have been put in there?
Give me, like, an insight.
12 plus 9, 21.
some sort of jagged object, something sharp and like not made by people's hands, a natural object, like perhaps a crystal.
Something stabby?
Yeah, like a jagged, object. Maybe a piece of metal or something like that.
Okay. Right, so with this knowledge, maybe sneak back downstairs again and just have a listen to the family conversation, just in case anyone's like, oh, wasn't it great for that one time we framed Tanager? Because we're the only ones here, we could talk about it.
Cool. Give me a perception.
Okay. 25.
That's a very good check, Beans.
I rolled a 15 and a 16.
You, are listening in on the conversation. At first it's kind of boring, but then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna keep listening. Maybe they might say something, and there's a snippet of a conversation that sticks out to you. Poor Tanager. Such a fool. Why, I mean, we always wish the best for him, but he just couldn't get along. I mean, he never did the ritual. He was always talking about the outside. It's so strange. And then his brother Finch goes, yeah, and that thing with his doll. He carried that thing around forever. What did he call it? Pelican? No, it was Pigeon, his older brother says. And his mother quietly goes, no, he called it Pan. And that little bit sticks out to you.
Interesting. Bean says out loud.
Would you guys like to meet up? Aaron, I'll say your encounter is very sort of boring. Like, it's a just corner of an alleyway, hidden because of trees and brush and things like that. Is there anything else you wanted to ask her? But there's nothing...
I was really just going to have Simond animate the plants and just get confirmation of her story from them.
Yeah, I'll say the sort of weeds around here are really gossipy. Mm-hmm. And, like, they definitely kissed for a little bit, and then Tanager broke it off and was like, this is messed up. We can't do this. I have to go. But that's the only new information.
Okay. And I'm also just looking through druid spells. Apparently they have dispel magic, so that's a thing that we can always reset Tanager very easily if we need to.
True.
The issue isn't that his family is more powerful than us, it's that his family is motivated to screw him over, which is the problem that we need to find out.
True.
Like, they all did it to him together.
I mean, if we need to be able to get him to talk in a way that's not impeded.
Oh, good. Yeah, in the trial. It's
like
good to have an
trial.
ace up our sleeve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I exit the garbage room after looking fondly and longingly at the garbage that I can no longer consume. And then I'm outside the house. And it's later, right? So we can knock on the door like normal and convince them to have a trial.
Cool. Conversation goes down the same way. Trial happens. You now have some time to put your evidence together and, confer with what everyone's learned.
Hey guys, how was your time? I definitely didn't eat anything.
Okay, good for you, I guess. Well done.
Oh, I did find this. I take out the dull red expended crystal. It was sitting around. Yeah.
Well, that's weird, because I found in Robin's study there was this old ritual circle which seemed to have, and I will investigate the crystal Olive found for
I know your bonus. I know it's not a 5th edition rule, but I'm going to allow you to take a 10. This is exactly what, not necessarily this crystal, but it matches the exact same pattern.
Yeah. Well, so, I rolled a 16 and a 17.
Yeah, this is the same crystal.
Okay, so this crystal fits exactly into the ritual circle I found, and I had to listen in on their conversation afterwards, and one of them was mentioning something about Tanager not doing a specific ritual, and something about that doll Aaron found last last loop.
Yeah, what about it?
Well, I'm not quite sure exactly about the doll. I mean, no, he called it Pan, apparently, which is probably something to do with the weird blonde satyr. But what we don't know is what ritual this was and why they were doing it. Obviously, it's something Tanager did not want to do, because he never did it. But maybe there's probably some sort of connection in there.
Well, what does Tanager dislike? He dislikes being married and doing healing spells. What else would he not be up for?
Okay. Everyone make insight checks on Tanager. And, yeah, let's do that first.
14.
19.
16.
I mean, all that tracks. They seem to have a lot of the same behaviors. So you're like, okay, this isn't some sort of like sobriety spell. I did hear a 19, right?
Yeah, from Beans.
Beans, you think back like when Tanager was in his mourning period and he was really, really sad. Everybody here is doing the same thing, but nobody is bummed out that the leader of their community has died. So, like, there's something to be thought about of, like, the things that are different between this community and Tanager.
So I'm thinking that maybe, like, has anyone else noticed that everybody is, having a good time?
It's so weird. The family was, like, when we walked up to the door earlier and they were laughing and their son is, I just can't believe they call themselves his family and aren't upset on his behalf.
Well, no, I'm just thinking maybe this ritual has something to do with him. Maybe the magic is making them happy. For some reason, I mean, Tanager's the only one who's miserable, and he's the one who didn't take it. So maybe if he, like, before leaving, just didn't want to do the ritual, maybe it was something to do with the Reveler, because he doesn't like them.
Oh, they're, like, always having a good time at the party, whether they want to or not?
Something like that is there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron, could you make an Arcana check? Do you have any sort of Arcana ability?
I gotta have a +3 to it. It's not great, but
More than what we got.
I'll say I'll lower the DC a little bit because you are the only caster.
Party's broken.
9.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, with what everyone's saying, this ritual has something to do with emotions.
Interesting.
And the fact that everyone's having a good time, and like Bean said, Tanager is miserable. It's about time for the trial.
I could use a bardic inspiration to really dig a little bit deeper here.
Would you like to?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, +11. So, non-natural 20.
With a non-natural 20, you would guess this ritual, like Beans giving a light description of, like, I don't know, there was a squiggle shaped sort of like a piece of pasta, and you're like, yeah, this ritual was meant to drain negative emotions. So, like, you're bummed out about something, do the ritual, and you no longer care about it. And then you take that crystal, which holds your bad feelings, and throw it in the trash. But with a non-natural 20, you also know the crystal should still glow. So something took the magical energy out of this crystal and put it somewhere else.
Okay, what have we seen that's glowing?
Nothing to your knowledge.
Oh, Olive doesn't know about anything. I can't say. Player has a theory. Olive doesn't know diddly squat about magic. Oh my
I mean, I
Would you like
wonder.
to- would
I
you like
wonder
to
if it. Sorry.
Sorry.
I wonder if it was in the crystal was what was used to stab the priest and transfer that negative energy into the priest.
Or if something consumed negative emotions as their food source, this town would be, I mean, they'd be as full as I am. Which is fully because I never have to eat food ever again.
Why? There's not a lot of negative emotion here.
It's conveniently packaged in like little yogurt containers for them.
Okay.
If you ate negative energy, then this town's crystal trash would be like manna from heaven.
Oh, like if they do this ritual often?
Yeah.
True.
It's like protein bars.
Yeah. Okay, so what I mean, I feel like we're not closer to the trial at this point.
I mean, the trial's coming up, like, you know, it only took him about 15, 20 minutes to set the trial. So you guys are getting your data together right now.
The types of things that consume negative emotions are things that I, as a monk, would know are way powerful. Like, I've heard rumors of monsters, sort of like how people may not have met a lion, but you're aware of what a lion is. Like, I know about things that exist that eat negative emotions. And I gotta say, guys, like, you know how Nixie almost killed us, Aaron? You know, that time that I visited you and I was like, hey, I can't even, I can only walk because every action I take fails.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah. Like, even though we're level 19, even though we've adventured for a really long time, the sort of enemy that can consume negative emotions would be a match for us. So this is a bit dangerous.
I think it's something Fey. Can we just... I mean, Simmons can conjure Fey. That's a 6th level conjuration in the Druid spellbook. Can we conjure up some Fey here and see if anyone knows anything about this?
Oh yeah, we haven't investigated the Autumn Queen at all.
I'll take investigations or arcana to try to think of what kind of thing would do this, or, you know, like, what sort of magic is at play.
Okay. I mean, I got a 15. You guys are much better at investigating than I am.
No, +0, so that's a 3.
So you were good with an investigation check, right?
Correct.
Oh, okay, that's handy, just because it gives me advantage, and one of those was a nat 20.
Oh, baby boy Beans, you done cracked the case.
So this book I happened to read earlier while I was sorting out my litter tray. All the answers were in there.
You're flipping through it, and you see a section.
The bits I haven't ripped out.
A thing called a tulpa. It is sort of like when somebody has a strong imaginary friend, it can take on a sentience of its own. And it absorbs, like, vibes, basically.
Does it shapeshift?
It is a being of pure emotion and energy deeply connected to one person. With a natural 20 Beans, this doll that Tanager was always holding sticks out in your mind. What would be more of an emotional anchor for something that is the basis of negative emotions towards this whole city? Maybe something...
I think I may have cracked the case. Well, yeah. I mean, this bit of it, I mean, you know, who, you know, actually killed the priest? No idea. But this one little bit, I think we managed it. See, there's this whole beastie, which, according to this book, lives as can be this doll, maybe, that Tanager had as a child, and, you know, spent all his time around and, you know, put all his, like, bad vibes into it because he wasn't having such a good time. So I think, you know, when he leaves, the doll stays there, and the doll, I don't know, maybe has an aura of bad vibes, which makes everyone else miserable, which makes them do this ritual to turn those bad vibes into good vibes, which then refeeds the bad vibe doll, and it's just a cycle of food, maybe. Because that'd be cool in a, you know, murdery sort of way.
Well, the trial is rapidly approaching, but it sounds like you might need to find this doll.
Guys, I think we need to find this doll.
Simmond has Find the Path.
What's that?
It's a spell that lets you find the right path.
Can you read it? That sounds so convenient.
Right?
Does he happen to have, like, detect object as well? That'd be quite useful.
I didn't see detect object.
I think that's more of an arcane caster thing.
Okay. Find the path, 6th level divination. Allows you to find the shortest, most direct physical route to a specific fixed location that you are familiar with. As long as you are on the same plane of existence, you know how far and what direction it lies. While you're traveling, you are presented with choices. You automatically determine the path that is the shortest and most direct route, but not necessarily the safest.
He's not familiar with the location of the object.
Drat. Okay.
When we went to the place and talked to the plants, did they say that it was the the blonde satyr who was with, like, my question is, why would a tulpa kill a priest? Or is there a third man? The third man!
I think player has figured it out, but also like the Nat 20, like Beans has just been working on it. But as soon as you say why would a tulpa kill a priest, it's because if the entire idea of the tulpa is like its best food source is Tanager, right? The tulpa would want Tanager to stick around, and what better way of getting him to stick around and be miserable than just killing a priest as Tanager, get him like convicted of this murder, make him miserable to begin with, make everyone else miserable and get all that free food along the way, and also basically have him like constantly forcefully married to this like Queen of Autumn, which he obviously doesn't want to do, so it's a constant state of misery. And with him being off like in Nicomoy having a good old jolly time, that's no food source.
And if they can't go to the Feywild and continue to drain Tanager, they'd set us on the task of getting them off the hook for the murder. It all makes sense, Beans. That's why we're time looping. We're helping the tulpa.
Yes. And also, I just checked, and Locate Object is a 2nd level divination spell known by druids.
Oh, okay. You can locate object.
Okay.
If we're wrong, just let us hilariously find out by being stabbed in the back by someone as we stand in the courtroom. Our witness! Crumples to the ground.
So you find it's up in the sort of attic of the tree in the Goodfellow household. A small satyr with blonde hair with the right hand that seems to be dipped in some sort of like some sort of dark colored liquid.
Okay. Like blood?
Yes, perhaps like dried blood.
Yee.
Olive, lick it.
I can't eat anything anymore.
It's not eating, it's just tasting. You ever
Okay,
been
I'll
to a
spit it
wine
out.
tasting? You're not saying you drink wine.
Okay, I'll spit it out. I lick the dried blood and then I'm going to spit it out afterwards, so it's not really eating if you don't swallow. Okay.
Does it
It
taste the
matches-
same?
Yeah, you smelled the blood before. It's the same blood.
Confirmed. Plet, plet.
How did we make this thing turn into the tulpa?
Well, I think we can probably just take it with us and it'll do that by itself.
Okay. Let's do it.
But the important thing is we get it, we show everyone else. So as long as it turns into this big monster in front of everyone, that's fine.
Okay.
Then we can teleport out and leave them to it. They've got numbers.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. So you guys take Tanager's childhood toy.
Yeah.
Albatross is going to testify. In your minds, you have the actual murder. You have an alibi. How are you feeling going into this?
Great.
So much better.
Good.
Beans?
Beans?
I think we've got it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think any specific details we may have missed or like motivations on the family side, you know, I think the main thing is we figured out what actually killed the priest. We've got a blood match. We've got, a witness to testify that Tanager was elsewhere at the time. We've got a motivation for the monster, but, I'm fairly confident there are some, like, monster rules on, like, in court about motivation. That usually they don't need one.
I do want to say, just because you got a nat 20, I want a small clarification on what a tulpa is. They work in the best interest of the person's ideal that they think of. They are not like a parasite. They're like the worst version of Drop Dead Fred. Like, it's an imaginary friend that feed, like, they just get the vibes that are being put out to it and react in kind. So it does feed off emotions, but it's not necessarily, like, sentient in its own right.
Okay, so if that's the case, then it would be more likely the case that Tanager was looking to, like, learn, like, healing skills, like, new stuff, which was very much against his old, like, ideals of, you know, just drink till I'm dead. And he was like, he actually wanted to spend a bit of time there to, like, learn these new things, and the priest said no. So Tulpa goes, oh, fine, I guess I'll kill the priests then. So it was just a revenge kind of thing?
Yes, and there's also this thing sticking in your mind of it's a little blonde satyr named Pan.
Is Pan actually the Tulpa?
Oh, I thought that was
Interesting thought.
I mean, I thought that was kind of implied, or at least, you know, very much like the Tulpa is inspired by whether it was an actual Pan, whether Tulpas have you know time manipulation abilities.
Yeah, is Hitler in Jojo Rabbit actually Hitler? No, but for all intents and purposes, he is.
That's what I'm questioning. Is the Tulpa in the form of Pan?
Yeah.
Or because I feel like we also met actual Pan.
No, we met a. Oh.
Or did we meet a Tulpa?
Everyone give me an insight check, please.
Oh, did we meet real Hitler in Jojo Rabbit? Because we would have just thought it was. By the way, if you audience have not seen Jojo Rabbit, go see it.
19.
Yeah, did Pan look like Taika Waititi?
A little bit.
29.
Insight 26.
Okay. Kinda, yeah.
Like, that was the Tulpa?
You think, with a 29 insight, there's a reason why Pan reset the trial so the truth would come out.
That was Pan.
It's all Pan.
No.
You're playing a god's game right now.
Okay. Approaching level 20, you start to get into like the whole god mingling thing, but I, Olive, am not ready for that.
Yeah, you are playing a god's game.
Great, cool. I'm capable of this. It's not going to go horribly wrong.
So
Beans,
yes.
Aaron, and Olive plus gods. What can go wrong?
Everything.
With a 29 and a 27, a little spark of life was put into this tulpa. That was a visage of Pan. And earlier, you remember, Pan called Tanager his prophet, which the difference between a prophet and a priest is a prophet has a revelation about a religion, a new idea, and a priest just repeats the words. So something big is going on here, and you think you might have found the true guilty party.
So Pam wants a spin-off, or a rebrand, maybe.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Beans, your first case might be putting a god on trial.
Well, you know what they say, start big, right?
Okay.
Good checks, everyone. Okay, trial is beginning.
Okay.
It's the same setup as before, as I described, left and right, altar in the middle, podium, small tables for people to sit at, defense and prosecution.
Beans hastily puts on a tie.
Excellent. Defense, would you like to have opening arguments?
I mean, we can do, yes. Just an opening statement. Well, first of all, I find it decidedly unfortunate that my client, the defendant, and maybe gesture over towards Tanager, has been ensorcelled so that he cannot present himself in a just fashion. I maintain that he should have all current spells on him dispelled immediately so we can get to the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
The impartial judge of Sim and the Kine. Mm-hmm. I will agree to that. You also notice the prosecution is led by the Earl King. So this terrifying nightmare visage of a wolf, tree, and deer is sitting across the aisle from you.
Also wearing a tie.
Also wearing a tie, yes. And it's not designed for his body, so it's a very short tie around his thick neck. Tanager is dispelled and returned to his regular form.
Good job, Beans.
Okay, so, starting things off. This case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is certainly a strange one that this defending lawyer has never come across before. We omit to mention that this is the first actual case we've done. In all my years...
This isn't high-level fae involved. Like, this will be recorded in the echoes on the walls of the Cave of Memories in the Feywild.
Yeah, they're going to stick this on repeat on... Oh, well, I was going to make a very UK-centric reference, and I was like, that's not going to fly.
Oh, we have UK listeners, so you can say
Yeah,
it.
go for it, baby
It's going to
boy.
be shown on Dave, everyone. Woo!
People understood that somewhere.
Hey, that's just for you, UK. 5-star
Yeah.
reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah. Like, 5 stars, Dave.
Cool. Continue, Beans.
Okay, so this case itself is certainly strange and mysterious, but the true fact of the matter is, Tanager, my client, did not murder Crow. What murdered Crow was something far more inexplicable, sinister, and godlike than any one of us here have any right to judge. The true murderer was the god, I don't know, I didn't check that bit of the book, Pan! And we just point towards any spot, hoping the Bronze Satyr will turn up.
As you are like knowing you're pointing to an empty place of space, and as your finger goes out and your head turns, that blonde satyr is there again.
Wow, they are really dramatic.
They have a shocked face. Me? And everyone notices a striking resemblance between the massive statue in front of you and this satyr you've been talking to. This is indeed the god Pan.
Well, I think that's enough for opening statements. We know, there's just... It's the front bit of the trial. We don't actually go into evidence until later.
The Earl King makes his opening statement and is frankly shook. You see this 12-foot tall fae is just like, everyone saw he did it. I've seen no evidence presented, and just because somebody says something doesn't mean it's true. So, is that really Pan? And then sits back down at the table. And Pan, gingerly walks up to the witness stand and takes a seat.
Okay, it's time for some cross-examination, everyone. Get your questions ready.
It's a god.
Now-
I'm just going to hide behind this pew.
I won't.
Just lean over to everyone and kind of whisper, okay, first rule of cross-examination is never ask a question you don't already know the answer to. Okay? They are just confirming what you're saying.
Pan, did you do it? Keep in mind, you're under sworn oath to tell the truth.
No, he's not.
Oh, is Aaron asking Pan that?
Yes.
Oh, yes, I did. Well, Tanager's emotions did it, so what truly does intent mean?
Well,
Tanager wanted the priest dead, and I agreed with him, so I made it happen. Is
but
that
your
not
hand was the
within-
one that did it.
Yes, I'm guilty of the crime, but Tanager wanted the crime to happen. So, truly, who had the motive here?
Did Tanager want it to happen?
Oh, he was very angry at that priest.
You can be angry
Why?
at someone and not want to shove your hand through their chest, ribcage, and heart.
Not Tanager. And he cackles.
I mean, Tanager, do you have a history of shoving your hand through someone's ribcage and bursting apart their blood-beating organ?
I have wanted to.
But have you done it?
No, but if I ever see Mephistopheles in the flesh, I'm going to do it, and I will munch upon his heart like a hungry goat.
You're really helping your case here.
I mean, no. I love everyone.
But you've never
All right,
done that before, right?
Correct.
But Beans, in the court of law, does it matter what someone wanted to do? Are we talking about intentions, or are we talking about yes or no, did you do it?
Well, luckily, law very much makes a distinction between intention and action, because those who do action without intention, that is one crime. Those who have intention but no action, there's another crime.
Or no crime.
Or no crime in some cases. Once again, it does very much depend on the action. And if Tanager or anyone in this courtroom, for example, just said, like, out loud, depending on, well, just, or like to themselves, oh, I wish, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know, Lark over there. It's like, oh, I wish, sorry, Lark. I wish Lark would just drop dead. Hey,
No.
You're the one I can remember the name of.
Come on, man.
If someone was like, oh, I wish Lark would drop dead, that's one thing, because, Lark, I don't know you, Lark, but you look a bit of an asshole.
Well, but what?
If
My dear
I
lawyer.
wanted Lark to drop dead, but I didn't do anything about it, and the day after I was like, okay, I was just a bit angry. That's understandable. I didn't actually do anything or try to do anything.
But you must understand you've put a god on trial here, my friend. What if you were the physical manifestation of God's will, and then you wish for something to happen? Everyone make a perception check.
12.
27.
26.
You guys see Tanager's brothers' faces drop. The clerical members of the crowd are shocked by these words.
I do have a very strong rebuttal for what you just said, by the way. So I would like to throw it out now.
Oh, go ahead.
My friend, if Tanager is merely a conduit for your will, then he in fact has no free will whatsoever. So any actions taken by him are your doing.
Well, then I suppose I'm guilty, aren't I?
There we go, everyone. You heard him. We good?
Yeah.
We good?
And, my dear lawyer, I suppose I would also have to suffer the same punishment as Tanager, correct?
They're different. Totally different.
No, wait, maybe. I mean, Autumn Queen needs a husband.
Oh.
Well, that's true.
I mean, are you sure you want to argue this? Because I have been banned from the Feywild, but if I was to be married to the Queen of Autumn, I would have to be allowed back in, correct, my dear lawyer?
What have we done? What have we done?
You would, yes.
Oh no.
I should probably mention that Alan here is not a lawyer. He is simply a paralegal. Don't worry about him. Judge Simmons, you are more than welcome to throw him out of the courtroom, should you feel it necessary.
Yeah, Simmons. Throw me out. Go ahead.
Punish him later.
I kind of want the Feywild to burn down. Let's send Pan there.
I made a handshake deal with the Earl King that I would be fully impartial, and due to laws that were downloaded into my brain through a magical ritual, the one who does the crime does the punishment, so I'm afraid I have to uphold that the god Pan will be marrying the Queen of Autumn. And,
What have we done?
if you want me to kick you out later, I'm sorry, but I'm at work right now. Come on. The god Pan steps forward, says, "Oh, well, thank you for doing such a fair trial, and I hope everyone remembers what I taught you here these past few days. A party is for everyone. We cannot exclude others from what we do, and those who wish not for a world or perhaps pan-dimensional party will suffer the same fate as those they follow. Pan looks with a devious smile, and as a portal opens up and you see a terrified-looking Fey woman, the Queen of Autumn, who is like, I've made a terrible mistake. An ancient law has been broken.
Oh, great.
And the god of revelry is entered into the Feywild. There is a subtle quiet, and the Earl King sits up from the table, walks across to the judge, puts his hand out and says, well, it's time. Simon puts his hand out, looks over to Aaron, gives a small smile, and mouths the words, I'll see you soon. And as the Earl King is the master of all things Fey and of nature, Simon risked his life in this moment to protect Tanager, because he is Simon the Kind. And the Earl King was not happy that they could not be the master of all things. So it was a deal that if you truly want to be a judge of things, I will take your soul, I will take your body. I will not take your memories, but you will come and become a Fey. And as this body fades away, Aaron, you see a small glimmer of the man you love. Right there.
What?
Yeah. He's essentially dead. He is no longer mortal. He's a fairy now. His fundamental nature has been changed.
Is he still there?
Yeah, his memories, his emotion, everything that makes a Fae not immortal are there.
Can I reach out and grab him?
Yeah. What would you like to do?
I feel like I should attack the Earl King.
Oh, he's laughing because he will lose.
Yeah, it would... that would be a real part 2 to the episode, which we do
Aaron's
not have
last
time
episode.
this season for.
Do it. Do it.
And then Aaron got swatted like a fly and died.
You could still bring the Simon you know back, but the Simon that was is gone.
Interesting. Okay.
This is like in Doctor Who when they make 2 doctors and they're like, you have one and you have one. Play nice. And then like...
Yeah. I saw that episode too.
It was so messed up.
I feel like I still have some options here. So I have 3 uses of the spell Wish at my disposal.
Mm-hmm.
First wish, I am going to wish that the Earl King has 1 HP.
What gives you wishes? What is going on?
It's the wish ring. It's not that expensive, surprisingly. 3 charges of wish.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
We're level 20, dude. Like, we have money.
Yeah. So, I wish that the Earl King has 1 HP.
Yeah, it's 100,000 gold. It's not that much gold.
No, it's not.
So, you gain the ability to cause a modified version of power word pain. And just... What word... This is like the hardest vicious mockery you've ever cast. What do you say to the Earl King to bring it down to 1 HP?
Erectile dysfunction.
No, I don't have that. And you see he withers.
Yes, which now that he only has 1 HP, I can use power word kill on him, which auto kills anything under 100 HP.
Aaron, the mantle of a god has been destroyed. There is an empty position in divinity in the current moment.
Which I believe I take up.
You would be the arbiter between mortals and the Fae.
I take up the mantle, and I use my second use of the wish spell to bring Simon back. I am going to reset his timeline to the age of 20 before anything bad ever happened to him.
He retains, because you cast the connection, he retains all the memories of you. And you haven't lost a moment. He is a fresh person in all regards, but still knows in his heart that, this person that's standing across from me is a person that I think rocks.
And then I'm going to use my third use of the wish ring to bring all the fire-breathing kittens home.
Bink! You guys are back in the tavern.
Whoa.
You see Curry is there. She's hammered, like Tanager level hammered on a Friday night. Pan, like in the moment before your teleport goes off, gives you a small wink before they walk into the Feywild, resets Tanager back to being normal, and blows everyone a small kiss.
Yeah!
And with that, you return to the tavern. Any final thoughts? Oh, and Tanager immediately runs to Curry and hugs her.
I would probably say Beans notices none of what was going on because he was just like busy like filling in some paperwork with Tanager and just like shaking hands and going, yeah, see, we got him off. We got you off. I said we'd be okay. How do you think that went? And all that jazz. Like, so those two are just talking. Don't notice a single thing about what's going on behind. So all that like screaming and.
I do need a lawyer on retainer. How's 100,000 gold a year sound?
I didn't work out my numbers, but that sounds like a decent amount. Yeah, sure, go for it. Sounds like fun.
Excellent. We will be having to deal with the Mafia, my darling. And he puts his arm around Bean's shoulder.
Beans looks at the camera like, hey, what's new?
I mean, so far you've got a 100% win ratio, so...
Oh yeah, I'm doing well. Like, when you first battles against a god, I think, a little thing like the Mafia, no worries.
Aaron, Olive, any final thoughts?
Just ignore the casual glowing, it's fine.
Yeah.
Much like the movie Bruce Almighty, you do hear just like a low hum of prayers in the back of your head.
Okay, I can live with that.
Oh, also, you will, for the future, gain the ability, you have the Hunter's Horn, that if you blow, will cause anybody to revert to their true nature of either predator or prey.
Duly noted.
So,
Don't blow that around, Olive. Don't blow that around, Olive, please.
Have fun being a god, my dude. Olive, anything to say?
I am sure this will have no consequences whatsoever.
None, no.
Everything is fine now. We fixed everything. Yay! Tanager, don't go back to Pan's Folly. Like, those people aren't your family. We're your family. Come on.
You have family here.
Yeah, if you need to learn healing, I mean, I've got a school of correspondence. Maybe they have some cleric stuff. I don't know. I'll ask them.
Tanager smiles and pulls a stuffed animal out of his pocket. And
No,
goes,
also none of those ever again from now on.
No, it's Pan. We can hang out again. Isn't that right, buddy? And this small animated doll goes like, of course, Tanager.
Chucky flashbacks. So you should come to us. We're your friends. Like, so I'll help you learn healing. I don't know anything about it myself, but I know who to put you in touch with. We're here for you. And I slap you on the shoulder way too hard because I'm hangry.
Olive, you need to eat.
No.
And with that, we will say goodbye. We were joined today by this wacky trial with Olive.
Bye.
Beans.
You know the name Better Cool Beans.
And Aaron.
You can pray to me later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Tensions with Toby provides an unrehearsed, unedited masterpiece as he drives. Without knowing his topic till actual time of recording, his skills of one-take recording makes him stand out. Driving in the southeast part of Saskatchewan, his show is unmatched, so let's tune in and see what his topic is on Tangents with Toby.
On the original show Legends with Bevo, media personality Bevan Bevo Jones invites interesting and notable guests to come on the show to share their stories that people haven't heard before. Bevo lifts the lid on the real stories behind the headlines, uncovering the ultimate highs and tear-jerking lows of a variety of guests in a humorous and light-hearted chat with plenty of banter mixed in as well. Our recent special edition show, The Road to Tokyo, Bevo chats to past and present Olympians to get a real insight into what it's like to compete for their country on the world's biggest stage. We find out about what it's really like inside the Olympic Village, the challenges of qualifying, and the ups and downs of competing at the Olympics.